G'day, guys. Welcome back to the SuperCoach Swordplay podcast. It is season 3, episode 17. We've got a special one this week. And I tell you what, boys, I have not looked forward to a potty like this one before. We are doing our community appreciation pod today. And backstage, we've got 7 or 8 guests that we're going to bring on very, very soon. And they're going to talk about their season to date, what's gone well, what's gone wrong, answer a few questions such as your VCs maybe. What are you going to do with Sam Walsh? We'll throw a few random ones in there as well so everyone can get a bit out of the potty. But before we get to our special guests, I've got my 2 legends that are here each and every week with me. So, Janath, how are you going, buddy? The Blue Baggers, mate, in the 8. Is the lid off yet, mate? Or you're still just keeping it quiet just for now, mate?
The lid's still on. It was just a tiny bit. We're just going to wait for Friday. If we beat Collingwood, that lid's going to come off.
He's got the lid ready. Have a look at him go.
It's going to be
I just found something on the side here, a bit sus there, but nah, just some Sri Lankan biscuits, you know. But no, doing well. Carlton's doing well. I'll tell you what, being there at the ground to watch Charlie's 10 goals, it's not something you see every day. I'm one of those nerds that has the AFL record as well, just putting in the numbers. You guys would know.
Oh, you would too. Yeah. I'm so not surprised by that.
I do jot down the goals and the points.
Old school, man. I love it. Reminds me of my nan, mate. Yeah, that's sick as.
But nah, so AFL's going well. And SuperCoach, I'll tell you what, we're up to 715th in the world now. So lovely. Climbed another 170, 26-35. I tell you what, that Saints North game was just, the score just kept getting pumped up because I got too many Saints, and then Sheaslin there, Team English VC, locked and loaded. Love the Team English special. And yeah, I mean, 1 score below 90, which was Errol. I mean, fair enough. And thank you, Rowan, for playing. I really appreciate you, mate, because if you didn't play, we would have all been stuffed, except DR, of course.
I was spewing on that. I was spewing, when the little devil comes on, it goes, oh, Rowan could have been out. You know, it feels like everyone that I play against these days has a bloke. So kudos, as Spills would say, to Big Rowan getting up. Saved a lot of zeros, I reckon. A lot of zeros. But congratulations, Janath, on your awesome rank there, mate. And congrats on the Blues finally cracking the 8, mate. But Spills, your boys, mate, the Dons. What do you reckon, mate? Are the Dons finals bound? And how'd your SuperCoach go this week yourself, buddy?
Yeah, I think they are. Dare I say it, quite unfortunate, because I just think we're kind of making up the numbers. I don't see how we don't make finals. I mean, if we lose to North, West Coast, got Sydney, this is a chance. We don't deserve to be there at all. But I think if we do make the 8, we'll probably finish 8th. And then I wouldn't be surprised if we play Geelong week 1. And that's just, round 3. Geelong 3 times this year. And I can only see them having relive another 365 days without a finals win. I was in kindergarten last time they won a final. So, if they make it there, that'd be great. We'll see how we go. I've been going to a lot of footy, so it's been good, but it's been a rough couple of weeks for the Dons. But how good is it? We've got the big red dog sign on. Hopefully that gives the lads a bit of confidence coming through. Looking to put pen to paper for what is, I think, a 6-year contract, I think I read. So absolutely massive. He's one of my favourite players. Him, Zach, and Ridley. They're my 3 boys, so that's great to see. What have been spewing with. And SuperCoach boys, well, first of all, I'd just like to apologise for last week's absolute turmoil on my end with the internet. Could not get my hotspot working. It's just chaos with me. Those who have been following me content for a while know that I'm just a little bit too far away from the Wi-Fi modem. It can be quite unreliable and inconsistent. So it's hotspot or nothing. But for some reason, it wasn't connecting. So missed the whole potty last week. So a bit of an update. Had a bit of a rank drop last week, but we bounced back up. So, this week I scored 2,545, top 6% score. Nothing too special, just solid, good without being great. And I'm sitting at 5.2K. So DR, you've jumped me. So very good stuff, brother. That's I'm not surprised by that. Still 3% overall. Bit of a shame to lose my top 2%. Hopefully you can keep bouncing back. I had to field a rookie this week. I was in a bit of trouble without the desk, and who else has been out?
Oh, what a gentleman!
Who else was out of my team? I can't bloody remember. So much Supercoach I've been paying attention to. So we had Laird out and someone else. I can't remember.
It's been carnage lately, hasn't it, mate?
I had to field a rookie. And thank bloody goodness that rookie's name was Marcus Windhager. He turned up and he scored higher than 9 of my premiums. So, I mean, as far as cover goes, that's pretty bloody good. VC Bond on the Friday night, as boring as you like, 126. Yeah, I'm taking that every day of the week.
Yeah.
And James Sicily, boys, the sick dog. I don't know if you guys saw this fourth quarter, but I was out of my seat. Richmond supporters were booing because he was just the hot topic. He got a couple of cheap sort of free kicks he could have given away, didn't. They were filthy. Took some pretty controversial intercepts late, boosted up his score, 170. Boys, that's so good to see. So, not too bad, but no trades. So, nothing to really talk about. It's just a matter of your VC, your captains, and can I get 22 premiums on the park? I haven't yet, and I've got 23 premiums, and I've had 19 on the park for the last few weeks. It's been bloody shocking. I'm pretty happy with that strat. I think 23 premiums is okay because look at the carnage we've had. It is handy, but that's about it from me, boys, this week. Pretty stock standard, but hanging in there. Hopefully we can gradually keep rising up the ranks.
Nice work, brother. Nice work. Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't think I'd get there. And look, I just want to maintain position at this stage, but I have finally got inside that top 5K after starting around the 92K mark. I think it's a pretty decent comeback. It's not the best rank you'll ever see in the world, but I think from where I came from, pretty happy for now. Still obviously want to keep pushing forward, but my round score is 25.84, so not too bad. The big sis dog, as you said, Spills. I didn't watch really any footy, mate, but I'm guessing if I had maybe a few laps of the house in that last quarter with that big score. And best of all, mate, you know who he plays this week, don't you? The big sis.
Yeah, I do, and he's involved in my captaincy options as well. I've got a bit of a dicey captaincy plan for this week. My VC is very risky, but I'm kind of hoping for. It's a sort of. I'm not going to reveal it until later, but it's a sort of bloke who could absolutely explode or go bloody shit house.
I know who you're talking about, Spills.
Yeah, well, I don't need to say it then. Obviously,
I'm not going to say it, but
it is obvious. It's very obvious. Yeah.
Will all be revealed later then. So let's have a quick round review, boys. I reckon it's time to get a couple of these legends on. They are waiting backstage. Now, these two blokes are the longest serving members of my channel. So massive kudos to these fellas. Met them in person before. We all love them. First of all, you may notice this bloke from my round review the other week when Brisbane played Melbourne. I had Spills on one side, and the great Corza, the ladies' man, Blackledge, was to my other side. So we're going to welcome this legend into the studio, as well as one of Corza's absolute best mates, Jono, the Man of Steel Christmas Carol, a mad Saints supporter. G'day, Jono. G'day, Corza.
Hello, legends.
How's things, legends?
Good. Oh, yeah. Can't complain with my Man of Steel.
Oh, mate.
He's unreal.
I tell you, I was giving it to you earlier, Jono, going, you've sold us a bloody dud here, mate. I said, Jono, should I jump on? You go, yes. Yeah. Jump on the man. I thought, bugger you, Jono, after the first few weeks. But now, Jono, I just want to give you a big hug and say thank you very much. You sent me in the right direction here because the man is absolutely back, Jono. So kudos to you, mate. The Saints has just got up on the weekend, and Corza, obviously a mad North Melbourne fan.
Oh, no.
Brisbane fan. Closet Brisbane fan, let me tell you that. Corza was more emotional than me, I think, when that mark wasn't paid to hit you there. But, Corza, thanks for coming on, mate. Again, you've played the game for years and years. Very long-serving member of my channel, so we're apt to have you on as well, legend. So, look, we've got a few questions lined up. So we'll sort of go through. We might start with you, Jono, and then we'll get to you, Corza. So, boys, first question is this. How's your season been to date? Jono, give us a quick review of your season to date, buddy.
Well, so far, my season has seen a personal year of growth with a roller coaster start. My year's turned around since round 3, onwards and upwards in the ranks since then, and sitting currently in the top 5K. So,
solid, mate. Likewise.
Very nice, mate.
Beating DR and Spills.
Yeah, I know the bastard. Yeah. Kicking off the channel, bloody Jono. Well, Dave, top 5K, mate. Terrific effort, buddy. And isn't it getting tougher these days, boys, to actually get a solid rank with all the great bloody competition out there? So, very, very good, Jono. Corza, how about yourself, mate? Season 2 date. I know I speak to you every week. A few ups and downs. Tell us how you're going so far, buddy.
Well, so this year it's been like personal rank so I'm 5,441, which has had some ups and downs from obviously when I had 2 captain, which cost me lots of ranks, and I was like flying at that point. If I'd changed the captain that week, I would have been like way higher. And then hopefully my goal is to get to like 3K or higher.
Yeah.
So I can improve for next year, because I think I've got the structure to get it going for the end of the season.
That's it.
Beautiful work. I tell you what, going to be a fair bit of competition between you two to see who finishes on top for that overall rank. Very, very similar ranks at the moment, boys. So congratulations on a great year to date, both of you. Now, second one, Jono, who's a starting pick, one bloke that you've absolutely loved?
Well, it comes a boy from my own club, Liam Stocker. Liam Stocker.
What a pod.
Good.
Yeah. I have to thank the Dr. Supercoach community for getting me on him. He averaged 75 for me for the year. Started the season 74, 74, 70, 77, and 78. Scored a ton a couple weeks after that, and only started the season at 216K. So I think he is my very own, much loved starting pick of 2023.
And you managed to get a Sainer in there too, mate. That is fantastic, and when we think of favorite starting picks, some are going to go your absolute uber primos, but you've gone more that rookie type selection that gave you some really consistent scores. We're obviously banking you a fair bit of cash when you're able to chop him, mate. So love it, Jono. Absolutely love it, mate.
I tell you what, just to add to what Jono was saying, that comes back to one of those Supercoach principles, isn't it? Always back your gut. Jono, he's in your own backyard. You would have seen him better than most people would have. And so it would have just helped sort of validate that selection, say, yeah, he's a mature body, rookie price, pretty much ticks all the boxes there. Good role.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'd be much loved at Carlton. Or wait, he's not there anymore.
Jono with a drive-by very, very early on. I love this form. He's watched his potty before, hasn't he, Jono? You can tell there. A very, very early drive-by.
He's a hard man to take down, and you've done it. You'll try every week, and Janath, he always has a comeback. I don't think he's going to come back for that one.
I know, Janath. I don't know if you guys, sorry, because we're going bloody off track, but very quickly. You know, you never diss Eminem because he's just going to come back at you, man, with those lyrics, man. He's a lyricist, right? You never mess around with Eminem. Don't just like the Eminem, like the Supercoach community. Don't give this man a drive-by because he is ready with that little one just in the hip pocket there. Bang. The quickest flick in the West.
I was ready from all the Mills drive-bys all year.
Yeah.
You didn't see mine coming.
That's right.
Sorry, mate. Go on.
Corza, we're going to get to this question now, mate. You watch it every week, Corza. You know that we very much divert, mate, but we're going to stick to this now, buddy. Corza, your favourite starting pick for the year, my man?
So my favourite starting pick was definitely Dawson, as he was low-owned premium category, as everyone was going Ridley and Doherty over him. He was a great unique as I got his 173 and 152, and that's when everyone was heaven and earth to get him in. This set up to the start of my season as a crucial pick.
Very, very nice, cause. And I can't believe I didn't start him. He was one of my locks all pre-season. Then I ended up with bloody Doherty and Ridley somehow. Don't know how it happens, mate, but that's life. That's life, isn't it? All right, next one, Jono. We've just talked about a pick that you love starting. How about a pick now that you regret starting? Give me a dud that you started this year, mate.
Yeah, so my regret for this year was unfortunately Sean the Shrek Darcy. Despite English's injury problems in the preseason, I should have just paid up for him full stop because it's shown no signs of an injury history during the seasons he's played to date. So as a result, I'm never starting Shrek again as he's definitely bound to get injured at some point. And what's he gone and done? He's ruled out for the year as of this week as well.
Yeah, it hurts, doesn't it? Gone for the rest of the year, as you mentioned. So some injury news there. If by somehow you're a Shrek owner, you need to get out now. You need to get out now if you got the trades, or if not, hopefully you've at least got a D cam that you can switch in there. And but very, very unfortunate. Corza, yourself, mate, a pick that you regret starting.
Mine is Liam Jones because I regret about a week and a half before the season, I had a panic and had to change my whole structure around getting Elliot out of my team, which meant Liam Jones was a popular pick that came up as he scored 90 against North in the previous practice match. This hurt as got a 5 on field and went down injured, and only the week before he was not on my radar for the whole preseason at all.
Absolutely the same. You would have been better off going Jono's man Stocker over Jones, wouldn't you, mate? Would have worked out a lot better. But very, very interesting, Corza. Like it, mate. Like it. All right, boys. We've got a couple more to go here. Jono, who is one player you are absolutely locking in 2024? I know you blokes starts planning very early, probably already planning for next year with the old Excel spreadsheet.
Yes,
I know you boys well. I know you boys well. So tell us, Jono, I'm sure you've already worked this out. Who's someone you're just going to lock in next year, mate?
Well, he's already been mentioned and discussed at wavelengths from me.
I think I know.
The man of steel is locked and loaded for John O'Carroll next year.
I was thinking someone else.
And going to say loaded.
He's done enough, has he? Oh, but he's going to be so cheap, though. Like, that's actually such a great call because his price will be, he might fly anywhere from like 500 or 550K at this stage. Yeah. And we know what If he can finish strong this year, it's going to be hard to pass up. It's a great shout.
Sure. He could be a bit like Lockie Neal last year when he came in at 543K and was like free. It's just a free player. It's easy money for a possible top 8 mid.
Yep.
I think a lot of the preseason stuff around him losing weight and all that was sort of blown out of proportion. It was just the injuries that were holding him back. Now we see that the winter months have come. He loves a bit of a tackle. And so he's flying, isn't he?
Yeah, he loves a long range bomb too. Sorry, Corey.
Oh.
or a tackling machine.
Fire tonight, Jono.
Or a tackling machine, as he's known.
This man can't be stopped.
The man of steel.
Out of control, isn't he? Absolutely out of control. We need the bulletproof vests on here, boys.
Yeah.
We bought a knife to a gunfight here, lads.
Well, I'm going to say, Cause, does this make Luke Davies-Uniacke your first starting pick for 2024?
Actually, no.
Way too injury prone, I think.
Where are you going, mate?
Mine is Dan Houston.
He's going a pod.
Yep, as one of my guys, I've liked him for ages this year, and he was one of the guys I traded in for Marshall in round 16. He's been a really good pod for the last 4 weeks of owning him. I want to pick him as he is one of my favorite players to watch, and I want to actually back my gut for a starting pick. Loved owning him this year, which has helped me gain the ranks quickly.
Very, very nice, mate. Very, very nice. Very much, I think, will be a pod next year. May have to pay up a little bit for him, mate. So I like it, mate. Going a little bit different from the crowd there, Corza.
Yep.
All right, boys. We are almost finished for now. One more question I'm going to throw at you, maybe before the boys want to ask anything themselves, but one lesson from 2023. Jono, what's one lesson that you've learned so far this year, mate?
So my one lesson that I've learned so far of 2023 is not reading too much into preseason scores and need to be accountable of who's actually playing for their side. So as such, Sam Flanders of the Gold Coast playing inside mid preseason game, got sucked into that, picked him. Liam Jones playing intercept defending for the Dogs, got sucked in. Early points, early roller coaster. Should have looked elsewhere, but look where I am now. So onwards and upwards. Hopefully not to do
Excellent,
it again.
mate. Really good point. Bloody Flanders at the moment. Oh, jeez, it's frustrating.
Let's blame Dewey for that.
Yeah.
Where was this earlier? I picked him up in draft, boys. Unreal.
Mate, 92K I started that because of players like bloody Flanders and Ridley, Doherty, 150s, 138s, Come on, give us a break, mate. Give us an absolute break. All right, Corza, one lesson from this year, buddy. What can you give us?
Okay, so my one lesson learned is that back your gut with VC and C. As a few weeks, there have been times where the player I was going to captain, every time I've changed it, gone to someone else the last 5 minutes before a game starts, which has led to the change of Dacos VC 2 weeks ago to Bond. Dacos C changed to Took 40, which would have gave me ranks if I kept Dacos C. Took a 118 of Taranto against West Coast to be safe and had Bond captain all week. Was locked out 1 minute after into the game where I couldn't get the 160 odd against Giants.
You poor bugger, mate.
Yeah, so I've had pretty bad captains.
I'll tell you something, Corza. Always VC your captain. If you got a man that you know is going to score 140, you put that VC on him and you won't ever look back. Just back your gut with that. I'm sure that's it. That's it, mate.
Yeah, good advice there, Janath. Boys, look, before we let you go, any feedback? Tell us how you enjoyed the pod this year. Give us just some general feedback, boys. How do you think we can improve? Should we kick Janath off the pod because he's too intelligent for Spills or I? What do you reckon, mate? Got any feedback for us, buddy?
No, we need that.
So what I've got is I've currently enjoyed the podcast that you three have done each and every week, whether that be your rant DR, Spills with your rookie review, or Janath,
thank you, mate,
your deep dive into our players' roles from week to week. So I can't wait to see what 2024 brings for the three of you.
Really appreciate that, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. Jono, we'll definitely have to have you on more regularly, mate, because I'm just loving these drive-bys, mate. Nothing's really come my way. It's gone to the top of the screen there. So
not yet.
Not yet. You, mate. Oh, not yet. Okay. Spoke too soon. Corza, anything you can add to that, buddy?
I've liked how you introduce the mailbag segment for people to get their questions answered, and it helped us with with our trades and helped us with all the cash crisis and different changes and ways we can adapt our teams.
Mate, thank you very, very much as well. Too kind, boys. I was expecting maybe a drive-by or two there, but all very, very kind feedback. Look, legends, it has been absolutely bloody fantastic having you on. As I mentioned before, you're both obviously the longest-serving members of my channel. We're on the video chats all the time, most weeks, and best of all, you're fantastic humans. We've caught up at the footy last time. I think it was with you, Jono, at the Lions Saints game.
Don't remind me, please.
Last week when those ladies were chasing around the field, buddy. So, guys, I very much look forward to seeing you again. Janath Spills, anything else that you want to say to these two absolute legends of the community before we let them go for the night?
Yeah, just quick thank you, lads. Sorry, Janath. Yeah, thanks, lads. Been a great servant for particularly DR, and they've stuck around through thick and thin. So, it's no coincidence that they're the first blokes that we talked to. So, yeah, thanks for jumping on, lads. And it's good to see your team's going all right. So,
And just to add to that, to what Spills and DR have said, as always, we're so appreciative of everyone in the community. That's why we're doing this, especially you two blokes. Though you've been, as Spills was saying, through thick and thin with DR, stuck fat with him, even through some of the harder periods of SuperCoach. Well, we've all stuck fat with you, DR. So that's why we're all here.
Old Peanut, Laddams.
Old Peanut, yep. That's it. And
don't take me back to those days.
I'm looking forward to meeting you, Jono. We met at the footy Corza, but I'm looking forward to meeting you, Jono, at some time at the footy. Okay, mate?
Easy. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, boys.
Legends. Thanks, boys.
Thanks very much, legends. We'll catch you again soon. Cheers again, boys.
Go Saints in round
Yeah.
24.
Ha!
Who are they playing?
Brisbane.
Oh, there
The
was the
Lions
Giant
up in
bloke.
Gabba.
I'm prepared.
Yeah, but-
One last one.
Johnny goes back through, goes. Catch you later, legends. Catch you soon.
See ya.
Yeah.
See ya. All right, I guess with that, I'll introduce our next guest, he's a good friend of mine, a WA man himself. Unfortunately, has to follow the Eagles all year. He stuck through it though. James Doharty, a UK man, but loves a bit of SuperCoach, loves a bit of banter in some DMs. Here he is.
Oh,
Hey, James.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect, mate.
Loud and
Oh,
clear. Perfect.
unbelievable! Nice to see you.
Firstly-
fellas. This is really
firstly-
weird. Go on.
Thank you for joining us on your daughter's birthday. I know you're
Yeah.
nice and dressed up, ready to go. We've got to get you out of here shortly.
Yeah, my wife's real happy. You know, she's sitting waiting in the car for me. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
But yeah, I guess we'll get this cracking. So,
Let's do it.
firstly,
Yeah, let's
James, what I wanted to ask you is two things. It's a two.
Nothing about the cricket, eh? Nothing about the cricket. Yeah.
No underarm for Johnny Guest or anything.
Oh,
Drive-by
no.
Central.
You went there.
Drive-by Central. But
Very naughty,
firstly,
old Janath.
how has your season gone? And the second part of that question is, I know your wife also has a team. Have you better in rank this year?
Oh, look, I'll start with mine. So I've actually gone down. I've had a bad couple of weeks. I think I've been fielding 2 rookies for the last 4 weeks with all what's going on. So I've dropped to 1,700. I was 1,200 last week. I thought I did okay. I think I got 2,460. And then I looked and I was like top 13%, absolute garbage. And yeah. So, but I'm happy with where I'm at. I was hoping to get top 3,000. And then Janath was like, nah, man, it's at the start of the year, let's get you into the top 1K. And I was like, well, okay, if I copy you, maybe I'll be all right, you know. But my wife's team, I actually forgot to do my wife's team last week, you know. So she actually had who'd she have on? Darcy Cameron on the field. She had Zach Merritt as the captain. I think Matt Merritt got 69. So she was in the top 1,000. I think she's 2,000 or something now. Yeah.
You sabotaged her, James.
I know. Bragging rights, you know. Yeah, I did sabotage her a little bit. I know. I was just too busy. I was just so focused on my team and work and looking after the kids. So I had my priorities straight. She was just she came last, unfortunately.
Well, I guess whilst we're at it, we should give you a shout out for your restaurant, mate. So, do you just want to give a quick pop up advertisement on the podcast here?
Oh yeah, so obviously I don't have my own restaurant anymore, but yeah, I work at Sandalford Wines in the Swan Valley. Actually, we not long ago did Patrick Cripps' wedding. Would have been a good one to get a few pictures, you know. Yeah, with him up there. Sandalford in the Swan Valley in the wine region. It's really nice down there. We get a few celebs coming down. We had the Spurs lot, the Tottenham Hotspur, the chairman and the head coach come in the other day. At the same day, we ran out of gas, actually. We actually ran out of gas.
No.
While we were good. I've never seen it before in my life. I was like, where's all the flames gone? Yeah, so apparently we had no gas, so I don't know what's going on there. But no, thanks for that, Janath. Yeah, hopefully we don't get too busy.
Well, I guess whilst we're at it, talking about gas and talking about players that started off with flames, who was one starting pick this year that you absolutely loved? You may still have them in your team, you may not.
Yeah, I think someone who I always knew, I think we always knew had the potential to be the best in the comp was Bontempelli, you know. He's been my favourite. He's been an awkward captain choice. Like, he always seems to get, I actually never picked him when he gets his huge scores, but he's always getting that 130. Such a great player. When Bevo plays players where they're supposed to be, it's amazing what they can actually do, you know, these Bulldog players. And Dunkley as well. I like Dunkley. Is a great player. Just to keep you happy up there, DR, you know, mention your fella, you know.
Yeah, that's me, well, mate. Struggling.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, on the flip side then, James, one starting pick that you regret or just went...
Oh, this one might be a bit controversial. I think I might make someone upset. I'm never touching this guy again. That's Jordan Ridley.
Yes. Give the Ridley.
The Guernsey's not on the closet tonight. I was a bit flat. Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
I'll go into the show. I know, I agree with you, man. I love him, but no way.
Yeah, I had him last year, he burnt me, and I couldn't get rid of him. I couldn't get rid of him last year. And then I had Nick Dacos in my team, and I reckon it's your fault, Janath. I reckon I might have messaged you, and you said I think you said Ridley's in the spot. You know, he's in the. He's going to be playing all these loose man or whatever, intercept marks. And look, he's and I changed to Ridley, and he did exactly the same as he did last year. He gets off. I mean, this guy is outrageously efficient. I mean, geez, the guy got 95% efficiency, you know, and he gets 18 possessions and he can get 100 easy. But he was on like 70 and he would stay there for the whole game and not move. I thought my phone was broken. What's going on? and then what happens? He gets injured. I was like, oh. And that's when I really love watching the DR run, because DR went off on one and he had to actually remember, you had to turn the channel off. And then I flick him. Oh, he comes back and starts scoring 130. I'm like, what's going on?
Man. Yeah,
and I'm actually looking at whoever DR brings in. I'm actually going opposite. I reckon. So you reckon he's jinxing all the players? I'm like, who's DR getting this week? Oh, okay. DR's getting English. All right, English is getting injured. Oh, DR's he's getting suspended. You know, he's getting concussed by getting hit by a feather and getting concussed or something. You know, something random happens with DR. You know.
You know what, James?
Ridley.
DR was just talking with the previous guest, Jono and Corza, about how he's been surviving the drive-bys. I reckon.
Yeah, I know. James has made up.
You take the cake, you know.
Yeah. I love it. Well, no one's safe on here tonight, boys. No one is safe.
I've just had a beer when I got home, or maybe I'm a bit intoxicated. I'm not sure. You know?
No.
It's been a long day.
You're all good, mate. Well, as we like to think, we would like to think that you started planning for next year as well, James. Who's one player that you've locked into your first team pick in 2024, thrown away the key? Who's your player there?
I reckon someone that absolutely anyone worth the salt is going to have in their team. Harley Reid. Who's not going to have Harley Reid in the team?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, good call. Good call.
You know what I mean? 100%. It depends, actually. If he decides he doesn't want to go to West Coast, maybe I might have to rethink that just on principle. But, yeah. No, definitely Harley Reid. Or I think, who else would I go for? Well, he's obviously the number one obvious pick, isn't he? Dacos, maybe. I don't think you cannot have Dacos in your team, to be honest. Yeah, you can't not have that.
Especially if that's defended DPP.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have dreams about Harley Reid in a West Coast jersey, James?
Actually, it's making me a bit feral every time I read something. If I ever see Kane Corns, that's why I like Port Adelaide getting beat. Just to annoy Kane Corns. The guy gets him. He just really gets
he's a shocker. He's been terrible for
the old volcano.
I don't understand what's so bad with West Coast. You know, like 4 years ago we finished fifth. You know, then we finished fifth again. Then just missed out on percentage. Then we finished ninth. We did a Carlton, just missed out on percentage. And then and then we finished second bottom, and we're going to finish last this year. So you know, it's not all that bad. You know, Eagles fans need to just calm down a little bit. You know, we won the premiership, you know?
Massive club. I think that's underrated.
He takes the piss a bit sometimes, Kane.
Yeah.
He's lost form.
Headline
grabber.
He's
not the same as he used to be.
Yeah, he's a bit of a pork chop.
He's had a shocking season, Kane.
Yeah. 100%. But you're going to see a lot of bargains next year. 100%. Little Mills, like you said before, Mills and Steele, and who else is going to be cheap next year? And everyone. You know, the whole primo midfield.
Nick Nat.
2018.
Nick Nat. Oh, mate.
Elliot Yo.
Could you?
Nah, Alex Witherden started pretty ordinary. He's come good.
Yeah.
Zach Williams.
Zach with.
Oh, nah.
No way. Seaton, Janath?
No deal.
Have you still got him in?
You know what? I'll tell you what. That was the first tackle that he's ever laid in his career. The one that sling tackled Ching Cotter's head into the ground. He got 2 weeks for it. The pork chop, Sam Casino. What a
Never
spud.
picking him in draft ever again.
I remember that when you picked him and everyone started laughing at you.
Yeah, so they should, mate. So they bloody should. That was a shocking call. Go up at the early hours of the morning to do it as well. Not doing yourself any
favors. Saying his name right.
well, James, I reckon.
Know by now.
I reckon with that, the lesson we learned is not to wake up at 3 a.m. to pick up Sam Casino, but give us some good wisdom, mate. That's what you're here for. What is a piece of advice you yourself take from this year and want to pass on to the viewers as well? A lesson
Oh,
learned.
I think be patient. I think be patient. All year long, I was really patient, and it did really well. And I had 2 rules basically, like no key forwards and no injury-prone players. And I think to complete my team, I rushed it and I bring in Jeremy Cameron, and then the week after that, I brought in Elliot Young.
Oh, no.
And I thought, okay, I know Jeremy Cameron, it'll give you some 70s, but it will give you some spike games, you know, you kick 5 or 6 or something. I wasn't expecting him to get -3 and a concussion. I thought DR picked him up that week. I thought something's gone wrong.
Oh, my
Where
God.
did he go?
Oh, man. James, you have been absolutely brilliant to have on tonight. I guess as sort of what we want to pass on to you and all the other guests that come on tonight. General feedback for us boys about the podcast, what you've enjoyed, what you think we can improve on. Feel free.
No, I think I don't think you've got anything to improve on. I think everyone needs to give you a big round of applause and thank yous, because you know it must be a massive amount of effort to get all this stuff. I mean, look at the size of that glass you're drinking out of. I mean, look how dehydrated you must get. You know, it's a mad effort to do all of what you do. I love the banter, the camaraderie that goes on. And you were saying before, DR, the competition is really hard. You know why it's really hard? Is because you've got great men like yourself going on, giving everyone information and who to pick, who not to pick, to make people like me better players, you know? So, you know, that's why I'm in the top one. I don't know where you are, DR. Was it 50,000, did you say? Was it?
Yeah.
He was. He's come a little bit. He's come back a little bit, but he was at one point.
Yeah. Do as I say, don't do as I do. I think that's what I have to say.
I got to throw a little bit of shade because of the cricket. I'm still emotionally upset about it. But
You guys had us on the ropes too. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think end of the day, England just had to win the first 2 tests, right?
Bloody
Stop thinking
Manchester.
about it. That's it.
Manchester's like Sydney. It's always bloody pissing down when there's a test match.
I'll just say, boo, that's the Janice soccer team. Nothing good comes out of Manchester, Janath. I'm sorry.
Bang!
Just to clarify, this is the Red Devils and not the oil tycoons over the other side of the city.
Both of them. Both of them. No love for anything red or blue, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Janath.
Oh, nah.
Hey, look,
James is not only doing a drive-by, he's doing a drive-by of a machine gun out of the bloody window, just shooting.
He's circling the block, isn't he? He's circling the block.
Sorry.
He's coming back.
He's doing bloody mainies, this bloke.
Look, fellas,
James,
I have to go, fellas. My wife's going to kill me in a minute. You know, it's been
Thanks,
really
mate.
Cool. Really good. Oh, nice to see you, Janath, after all this time, you know.
That's
Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thank
And
you so
thanks
much.
every week for your support, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks
Much
so
love,
much,
eh?
See you, James.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao, buddy.
Have a good one, James.
See you, mate. See you, bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.
What a legend. That is the
Great
funniest.
play,
was
Jay.
good.
What a
That was
super bloke. I tell you what.
Prime quality.
Now, he's still in here somehow. Hang on. There we go now. Now, I'll tell you what. Down with James. And I'll tell you what. We're talking about super blokes here. Next up, we have an absolute legend here. Now, this man I have not actually met before. So very, very much looking forward to it. It's my man, Dan Pennant. Now, every week we obviously put, a tweet out asking for questions on the mailbag, etc. And this bloke always sends through some absolute rippers. So I'll tell you what, I'm getting very, very excited to actually have a chat with this legend. Dan, welcome to the channel, mate. Thank you very much for joining us, buddy.
Nice to meet you guys.
G'day, mate.
Likewise, mate. Likewise. Mate, tell us, how have you been? How's things? How has your season been to date so far, mate?
Season's been, mostly good. Few silly trades around the buys that sort of, cost me a little bit here and there, but overall not too bad. I'm currently ranked 3,022.
Very nice.
So dropped a bit this week, but yeah, season's going pretty well. I've sort of mixed up what I did this season with being a bit more aggressive with trading rookies earlier in the year. In previous years, I've sort of held on to them a bit too long, where they might gain an extra 10 or 20k, where I've been dumping them for, players who are going to make that 40, 50k most weeks, and that seemed to work pretty well. up until the buys. And then, as I said, burned a few trades on players that I didn't really want to get in and I didn't need to. First week of the buys, I had 20 players and I wanted 22 for some reason. And both those trades turned out to be wasted. So, one thing I've learned. But, season's gone pretty well. I've got pretty good bench coverage at the moment. So, pretty set for the season. I've got a lot of rookies playing. So, I can cop a few injuries between here and the end of the season and I should be fine.
Excellent. Bloody good position to be in, mate. If you can cop a few injuries and know that you're still going to be right, fantastic stuff, because there are teams, Stan, as you know, mate, that are very much struggling at the moment, buddy. And one other interesting thing that I just picked up on then is that before we just had James, and he said that he's learned to be very patient, but you're going a little bit of that opposite approach, aren't you? Going a little bit more aggressive there, mate. So great to see already with a few people, some different game styles as well. So really love to see that, mate. And look, I'd say I think I need to be a little bit more aggressive like yourself, because I've got a bloody boost left in the bank, Dan. I am shattered. I am spewing, mate. I wish there was some sort of system I could swap it for like an actual trade, like just a boost for a trade or something, mate. But mate, how's your trade situation going anyway, buddy?
Well, I had Tom Green, I had Patrick Cripps, had Jake Lloyd. So like the last few weeks have been a bit rough. So I ended up using my last trade last week to go Tom Green to Jack Sinclair.
Beautiful, mate. Beautiful.
I've got him in the midfield. So I've got a mid defensive swing. Lovely. And then in the forward line, I've got either Jeremy Cameron or Darcy Cameron, which will be my F6, F7, so which can switch into the ruck. So
beautiful.
I've sort of got two extra premiums with an asterisk. So I guess if you call Will Day and that, those sort of players premiums. But so doing all right. Just got to remember to loophole properly and not drink too many beers on a Saturday before I forget to check the scores.
We've all made that mistake, mate.
I was going to say, we've all been guilty of that one, Dan. I tell you what.
Some more than others. Far out.
Yes. I lost. I had Marrick's score on the weekend on the field instead of Darcy Cameron's because I didn't check my loopholes before. That cost me 70 points.
Yeah, that stings.
That's such a rise in the ranks as well. That loss of points, isn't it, at this stage of the year, bud?
Yeah, so that was pretty devastating. But at least I had a good time on Saturday. I went to a beer festival in Melbourne, so that was good fun. But those points hurt.
Yeah.
Well, mate, at least you went to a beer festival, mate. So there are positives to losing the points anyway, mate. The reason's okay, Dan. Mate,
but the points hurt more than the hangover.
Absolutely, mate. Dan, let's take it just a few steps back, mate, and go back to your starting team. Who was one bloke that has just done a ripping job for you? As Janath said before, you may not still have him now, but who was who was your best starting pick for the year, buddy?
Oh, look, I'd have it's a toss up between three, but I'd have to say Tim English.
Nice.
With Goulden and Bont being close seconds. Goulden more of a value pick and dual position swing. He was proved really handy for the buys. But Tim English, I don't think you can really go past him. The first 5 or 6 weeks offering that vice captain score week in, week out, just to be able to rely on him. And he didn't get injured for once. Which cross my fingers, but
speaking from a non-owner,
fingers maybe not crossed for you because he's in fine form again too.
Mate,
knock on wood, mate. Please don't bring him in DR.
Mate, I've got Maxi Gordon, mate. Here's Tim English, mate. I've got big Maxi, mate. Don't worry about Tim English, mate. Danny has killed me this year, mate. Spills and I talk about it a lot. He's probably going to be my first locks next year. I think, it's killed me not owning him. So love that, mate, as a starting selection, buddy.
Really big on
next one, mate. Let's go the opposite. Who do you regret starting? Who really sputtered it up for you early on the year, mate?
Oh, this one hurts being a Collingwood supporter. But I had Dacos all pre-season and ended up in the last few days before the season started changing him to Bailey Dale.
Exotic.
Because I was worried about the tag that he was going to cop, and as a second-year player, he wasn't a big body yet. I figured,
You're not the only one, man.
He might break the tag, but it seems that he's too agile to sort of be tagged really well. But yeah, Bailey Dale, that hurt. So as soon as the second game finished, he was gone, just straight to Dacos. Never looked back. But another one which would be a close second, as James said before, Jordan Ridley. I'm never picking him again.
Oh, come on, mate. You got to hold the faith. You got to hold the faith. He'll come good. He'll come good.
Down.
He's probably
I've picked him. This is the third year in a row I've picked him, and the third year in a row he's hurt me. So,
you know, Spills reckons all these Essendon blokes are good blokes. You know, Zerett's a good bloke. Pick him over Walsh. Ridley's burnt all of us. All of us. He's a bastard, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's a legend. Right. He's an absolute legend bloke.
Yeah, legend. Yeah. I'm going to add something here to this Ridley discussion. I have a good mate from school, and this was what year was it? 2021. This was when Ridley had scored like 130 in 5 straight games or something. He brought him in for that game that he got concussed in. How stiff! He paid like $630K or something for a defender, right?
That's wrong. That's wrong.
I reckon he turned up all season after that.
Yeah, I reckon that Spills, was that the year that we started with Lockie Neal, mate, and we did the early Neal switch to Ridley?
Yeah, we both jumped off, man.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we jumped on early.
I reckon it was 2021.
Yeah.
Craig. Yeah, I reckon I had Neil or someone, and he started off something. I forget what I did anyway, but yeah, great for a few weeks, and then absolutely nothing. He's burnt all the Spills. Take that shit off your neck, mate.
And hold the phone, boys. It's going back up. You guys carry on.
All right, yeah, good on you, mate. All right, Dan. Mate, one player you are going to lock in next year.
Look, I think it's got to be Dacos. He's a second-year player. Players who play midfield, half-back roles show pretty good growth over their first 4 to 5 to 6 seasons. If he can show growth going into next season, he could average 130 plus, and I think that's something that you can't not have especially if he's got the dual position, which I really hope he does for next year.
Yeah,
if he's still a defender, I think he's going to be the most picked player to start off with, up there with Harley Reid.
Yeah, with big heart. Well, it'd be a very bad, scary antipod to have, wouldn't he? Not having Dacos. I absolutely agree with you, mate.
If he continues to form, you'd be making up a lot of points each week in other areas. So,
absolutely, mate. Absolutely. All right, mate. One lesson from 2023. Obviously, the season isn't over yet, mate. But I learn probably lessons each and every week. What's one that you can really take out of 2023 to date, mate?
So just be smart with your trades around the buys. I planned very well for the buys, but probably got a bit greedy with weeks where I'd have 20 players or 21. I'd make an unnecessary trade to get 22. And yeah, I'm looking back on it now, and I could have an extra 3 to 4 trades in the bank with the exact same team if I didn't do this. And the first week that I actually made those 2 trades to get extra players, they didn't even score in my top 18. So
wow, okay, yeah, that hurts, mate, doesn't it?
Yeah, it hurt a bit, but I think just for me, being aggressive with rookies earlier in the season, you've really got to take value options earlier in the season, and then once you get to the buys, that's when you should really start to, in my opinion, lock in some of those higher top-end premiums.
That's fantastic advice, mate.
Value's big.
Yeah,
absolutely, and you're right around those buys as well. Obviously, given the fact that it's best 18, you always want those few extra players to get that advantage. But yeah, there's no guarantee that they're even going to score in your best 22. So a really great lesson there, mate. And I reckon there'll be lots of people that are listening in and watching in tonight that would absolutely relate to that. So love it, mate. Great stuff. Now, mate, just to end with, give us some feedback, mate. Enjoying anything about the podcast? anything that we can be doing better, mate. We always love to obviously try to improve it and hear from our community. So anything you can give us at all today, mate?
No, look, I love what you guys do. I think you have a great balance of knowledge and humour. Yeah, it's really interesting to listen to. You can have a laugh. There's nothing worse than, when there's someone with a monotone voice. You guys are good. The banter's always good. The interaction's great. The knowledge is good. Like good knowledge on rookies. I love that you cover the captains. Like captains and vice captains, I think, are huge in SuperCoach. Something that I've put a hell of a lot of time into this year. But yeah, no, I love it. I love watching it every week, and yeah, speaking to you guys on Twitter and whatnot.
Thanks, mate.
Oh, mate, very, very kind feedback there, mate. Thank you very, very much, Dan. And mate, but best of all for us, I think, because obviously it's like we almost know each other, through Twitter and everything, but nothing like actually, seeing you on the screen there, mate. Hey, even better in person, hopefully one day, mate. Catch up, certainly for a couple of cold ones. Make sure to set our captains right and Darcy Cameron's on the field and everything, mate, before we go out with a few, mate.
Yes, absolutely.
That's probably another lesson learned for you this year, Dan. But, mate, thank you very, very much for joining us. I think I can speak on behalf of both the boys in saying that we really appreciate your support each and every week, mate. It's blokes like you that really keep us going, keeps the potty going and the channel going. And let's be honest, without guys like you and lovely ladies out there in community as well, we wouldn't be doing it. So, mate, thank you very, very much for coming on again. And I'm sure that sometime soon we'll have another great chat. So, cheers, Dan.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, mate.
Cheers, man.
Have a good night.
You too, buddy. What a legend. What an absolute legend this fella is. Like, seriously. Now,
we've
boys,
up all the legends, haven't we, DR?
We certainly have. We certainly have. Now, I believe, Janath, you've got a very, very special guest about to join us. Come on, mate. Before I get him on the screen, give him a bit of a pump up, this fella, mate.
I will give him a bit of a pump up.
Absolute ripper.
Well, we go way back, this bloke and I. So we actually went to the same high school together about 5 or 6 years ago now. I'm just trying to think back now. We played basketball together. We even played open age basketball together just last year.
Nice.
Now a writer for Honeyball. He's in the top 200. So I'm going to introduce here Stephen Rios. He has his own YouTube channel as well. So after this, I hope all of you guys can go and follow him or subscribe to him on that. But here's Steve. Welcome, mate. First time we've had you on the channel, but it's been a long time waiting, hasn't it? How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for inviting me.
Nah, no worries, mate. It's a pleasure to have you on, and I'm sure these boys here as well. I was pumping you up off the pod a couple of months ago now. These blokes both knew who you were. We just couldn't put a name to the face. That was all.
It's great to have you on, buddy. Great to bet. Can we stop bringing on people that are ranked higher than me? I don't think there's been anyone so far
I didn't want to say, but bloody hell.
Can you stop with your 200, Steve? Jeez, mate. Oh, I tell you. No, mate, absolutely wrapped to have you on, legend. Absolutely wrapped to have you on. But you must be a bloody shit bloke being a mate of Janath, I tell you. No, totally. Sorry, Janath, continue, mate. Steve, I had to give you a drive-by early on. I haven't been given too many drive-bys myself. I've been copping them, so a little bit of spray early on, Steve. But welcome, mate. Absolutely pumped to have you on.
Steve.
I appreciate you guys.
He's a great bloke, and I guess we'll just get going. To be in the top 200, could you just specify? I think was it 180, Steve?
Currently 190 overall.
190, yeah.
That's nuts, man.
To be there, I guess the season, you've been counting a lot this season. How's your season been? How's your season gone so far in general? Is this probably a PB season for you as it's going?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, definitely a personal best. Been on a bit of a slide lately. I did peak at I think 62 a while back, but
nice,
few bad decisions along the way. I've dropped a little bit, but I really can't complain because, like, from an overall perspective, it's been by far my best year. So I'll look back at this year fondly for sure.
Yeah. And do you see yourself sort of being able to make one more charge at the top 100, given your team? You're sort of settled around like finishing around 190 sort of thing.
I reckon I'm settled. I'm only down to a trade, and I have Sam Walsh, so I'm probably screwed, but it's fine. It's fine.
Well, I guess it's a good segue because I'm in the same position. I've got 2 trades though. I'm really thinking about, do I use Windhager's cover for 3 weeks for Walsh, or who's sort of the best Walsh trade out options? Do you reckon, in your opinion, this week?
Oh,
I'll put you on the spot there. I know
it pains me to say it because I traded him out 3 weeks ago, but probably Jack Steele if you don't have him. So it's been painful the last 3 weeks. I traded him for Mills, and we know what's happened since then. But from a personal point of view, I am thinking of going Doharty solely because of the DPP.
Wow.
It'll be ideal to have better defensive cover because I feel like with the luck I've had recently, I'll probably have an injury in defense. So it would be helpful to have that sort of cover there.
That thinking's top 200 thinking, mate.
I'll tell you what as well, Doherty's role, given Walsh will be out, Kennedy's still out, that role will still be there. It's a really good role in the Carlton team. Well, with that, a starting pick that you've really that you look back on, you're thinking that's what got me into the top 100. Who was that player, Steve?
I have a couple of players. So first one, Clayton Oliver. I know a lot of YouTubers didn't start with him. They had the old Blair, Bont, and Green combo. But I think my main one would be Jordan Dawson because he was a bigger pod. And he went bang from the get-go, that 170 and 150 back-to-back. It was so good to watch. So I have to go with Dawson.
Wasn't bloody good to watch as a non-owner, Steve. I can tell you that much, buddy. It was an absolute dagger, that. Oh, man.
I'll tell you what. I'm still thanking the lucky stars that Elliot Yeo got injured in pre-season because that was why I brought Dawson in. Otherwise, would not have been able to sort of facilitate that. And Dawson, Steve, I just don't get how Adelaide make non-midfielders into midfielders that just go bang straight away. Like Laird a couple of years ago, Dawson now. It's like, who's next? They're going to make like Isaac Rankin a permanent midfielder next year or something.
He looked really good against Melbourne.
But nah, awesome picks there, man. Clearly, like you nailed both of them, and hopefully, he didn't have to hold Clary through his torturous stint.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Well, on the flip side, one pick that you regret or heavily feel like, oh, what? Why did I start him?
So I think a pretty clear one for me would be Sam Flanders because it was more of a last-minute sort of pick because I was getting cold feet on Sheasel. And the day of the North West Coast game, I was working, so I missed the news that Sheasel would be at halfback. So I kept Flanders, saw Sheasel go bang, and that was brutal.
I can so relate to that, mate. That was me. I wasn't at work. I was doing something or other. I missed the news as well. And how much, Steve, how much of a killer is it now watching this bloke run around for the last 5 weeks and do what he's been doing?
Oh my God.
Seriously, man.
So a few weeks ago, I ended up going Steele to Mills to fund Eddie Ford to Liam Henry as a mid-forward cover. And Henry's been fine, but I could have gone Ford to Flanders in one trade. So that's absolutely killing me right now.
It's a couple of moves. So if you even think about that, and even with the Mills Steele, geez, mate, you got a pretty scary ranking. Not to try to rub anything in, and but yeah, it just goes to show, doesn't it, Steve, that 1 to 2 decisions can have such a huge, huge impact, mate. But look, to get to where you got to, mate, you obviously made a lot of good decisions as well. So yeah, fantastic stuff, bud.
Just to add to this sort of thing as a SuperCoach principle, there's such a thing as right process, wrong result. Like Flanders, right? Yeah. If this was the role we were promised in preseason, that got destroyed in the first sort of 5 weeks off the season, and then when as soon as like Stuart Hughes on his way out, or is like being like he got the sack, and this is the role we get now, it's like you just you can't really be too down on yourself because you made the right selection. I guess it was a bit impulsive in your case, Steve, but the idea was there. Like, and it's some of those picks just don't work out. And you can't really blame yourself for that. I know a lot of others were in the same boat as yours there, mate. So all good. Well, is it possible that Sam Flanders is a lock as a starting pick for 2024? Or otherwise, give us your sort of starting pick that's been locked in already into your team pick for next year.
Oh, geez, it's probably a very common answer sort of thing. But like, I know most would probably go with someone like Nick Dacos. Another pretty common one who'll be my answer is Marcus Bontempelli, just because it's just a consistency for me. Only one score under a ton the whole year, and only one score under 110, I believe, or two scores under 110 total. It's just that sort of consistency that you want in your team, and you just don't want to have to deal with throughout the year.
Yeah,
absolutely, mate.
Do you sort of find it a bit difficult including Bontempelli in your VCC loopholes now, Steve, given he's just every single week is just 117 to 126, like a metronome. And then he has that occasional spike game. You hope to get onto it like the Freo game earlier this year.
Yeah.
But he's like, he just keeps hitting that mark.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to
He's a great captain when you're indecisive, I reckon. Like when you really don't know who to fall back on. I think Bond, I mean, without
just locking the safe one.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Steve?
Yeah, you just really hope for those high ceiling scores. It's hard to predict these days, but like I've seen I think the stats have shown that he's been a better away from home player. So it's tough with these Marvel games because you hope he goes bang in one of them, and the opponent's always pretty good. It just never really happens. But it's just like as a starting pick in general, just so safe, and yeah, he's locked in for me.
Love it,
and yeah, can't really go wrong with the Bond. One lesson from this year, mate. So obviously you're ranked 190th. Is there a lesson? Because you're ranked so high, can you give us a lesson that you look back and say, okay, I'm glad I did that, and then one lesson that you say, okay, I should have done this better. I'll do this next year, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a good question. So one lesson for me, to be honest, is just keeping it simple, really, because like with work and all that, I actually didn't have as much time to research SuperCoach properly as much, and that honestly kind of helped me because it just helped me keep it simple in terms of picking. It's like a easy him sort of test, and I did that with like a few of the Uber premiums and stuff. That's why I picked Clary. I didn't really think about the price too much, just because I wouldn't want to deal with him mid-season, that sort of thing. And to go off of that, like something that I wish I didn't do was essentially go away from that, because I started thinking about things more once I got up in rank, and that kind of led to some bad trade decisions. So throughout the buys, I had a prime chance to trade in Tim English, and I went away from that because I was kind of overthinking, I want to make ground at the end of the buys sort of thing, and I went with Jared Witts, and that's obviously been a massive fail to this point. I missed out on someone like Luke Ryan, and I picked Lloydie over him, so that didn't help either. And then trading in Walsh over whoever the informed mids were around that point. Yeah, it would have been another brutal one for a lot.
So good. But well, Steve, I'm really happy for you, man. I'm glad that you at the rank that you are, and I hope that you can get into sort of top 150 and even into the top 100. If you can get those double digits, it'll look absolutely brilliant on your resume there. And then I guess just to bookend this sort of chat, Steve, just some general feedback. I know that you watch the podcast weekly. Do you have any feedback for us? Anything that you've really enjoyed? Anything we can improve on heading into 2024?
Honestly, I don't know if I have any like constructive feedback, to be honest, because it's just great to see content creators collaborating. It's great to see you, Janath, on the pod, and like it's just so nice to have like people with these platforms to have this sort of discussion. It's just great insight every week, and you boys are always entertaining every week. So it's great to watch.
We really appreciate that, Steve. Yeah.
Colin, be the first of many on this channel as well, Steve. And mate, one thing you got to do is quickly, mate, tell us about your YouTube channel, buddy, because look, top 200 coach at the moment. I'm sure that you get a few more people start to head over and subscribe, mate. Tell us a little bit of about your YouTube channel just before you leave us, Legend.
So I won't talk about too glowingly, but Steve R, just simple as that. Just post my round reviews every week. I really just do it as a hobby. I don't really have as much time to do all the insightful things that you blokes do. So good on you all for having that content for everyone out there. But I just like to post videos each week to document how my team's gone. I'm just glad it's gone really well this year.
Good on you, buddy. That is absolutely fantastic.
Great to hear, Steve. Well, thank you for coming on today, for making the time for us. We appreciate being able to chat to you, and hopefully we'll be able to chat to you in the coming SuperCoach years as well. And fingers crossed that you do get that top 100 finish that you're after, mate.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Cheers for having me on, guys. Thank you.
No worries.
Thanks,
Have a good
Good
night.
on you, Steve. Catch you soon, Legend. See you, mate.
All right, let's get this absolute legend in the studio ASAP. Been a real regular, particularly on Twitter, a massive following of mine, and I'm pretty sure all of your Twitter pages. Massive fan of the channel, and yeah, definitely deserves the recognition on the podcast. So it should be good. So yeah, welcome to the potty, Lincoln Beggzy, Big Bezza. How are you, mate? What's happening? Welcome to the podcast. How are we?
Oh, look, mate. To be honest, just terrible starting team. I just couldn't get going. Started off round one, ranked 72K. So we're talking Tom Stewart getting injured in the first quarter, round one.
You can't predict that.
How's that for start?
Man.
And you know that's going to be a fall-on effect. And then I copped Josh Kelly getting KO'd as well.
Oh, jeez.
So not for the first time I've had Josh Kelly for one game. I had him about 2 years ago, KO'd for 3 quarters, and then he copped it round one this year. So yeah, I've slowly been building, but you know, you take 3 steps forward and you'll go 1 or 2 steps back. You know, I did the old Sean Darcy to Darcy Cameron.
Oh no,
that went one round.
The ruck merry-go-round.
Oh, merry-go-round, mate. And then, but went Darcy Cameron to Tim English. So I just said, that's it. I'm not bothering I think I could have got Brodie Grundy at the same time and saved even more money. I was like, nah, I'm just going Tim English. Just get the best man in. And he surprised me. I thought I'd be looking at, you know, needing to trade him eventually down the line, but he's just been rock solid. Fingers crossed. Going forward. But yeah, the trade situation has been poor. I boosted in Tuke Miller as well at the same time. I think you did.
Oh no, yeah.
And
the C.
Yep, the famous 3: Matty Roberts, Matty Johnson, and Tuke Miller.
It doesn't get worse than that.
Oh, I don't think I was the only one. I think there was quite a few that did that. But it made sense at the time, so I can't get too upset. It just made sense at the time.
Absolutely, it did, mate. Absolutely, it did.
I was on the hunt for a primo, a solid primo, and I love Tukey as well, like you do, DR. And I just copped that. He just didn't look right the whole game, so I was a bit
just
worried.
Wing all night.
Yeah, 30. He was only 30 about half time. I was like, no, why am I paying 620 or something at that time? And I was like,
I know he was.
Then he went down.
And then I guess just to add to that as well, that with the famous trio, that was the same week Dylan Williams was also on the double, but he was the sub and everything was like,
it was the second game too, wasn't it? It was his second game. He was the sub.
Was, mate.
It was okay.
Yeah.
And then geez. Anyway, so yeah, that's the sub rule, playing games again, isn't it? And then and I haven't finished yet with the bad trades, like unlucky trades. Clayton
There's
Oliver.
more coming.
Yeah. Geez, I could go a whole night. Clayton Oliver, lads, the Port Adelaide game, brought him in. Could have picked him or Zach Merritt. I thought I'll just go Clayton. I want a solid VC. Though I wasn't getting the C's and C's right, and he'd just been churning out 120 plus no matter what. And I wanted that solid guy, never gets injured. And what happens? and then, but the thing is, he went out, and I went straight to Zach. Oh, mate, I told you. And I was straight to Zach Merritt, and then Zach Merritt's been brilliant since. And I got lucky with in a way, in a bad way, I suppose, a good way, him being prolonged with his injury, Clayton. So, and then probably one final good one was James Sicily to Luke Ryan. Yeah, I probably regret not having Sicily now, but having
Great
3 weeks
trade, though, in hindsight.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, having 3 weeks of
Yeah.
Luke Ryan. I just wish I got 4 weeks and the appeal wasn't held over. But anyway, so it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy year. I'm into 1.3K now, so
Wow.
That's solid
Yeah,
considering
hang on.
the carnage that
Given
you've
the
had.
carnage.
Hang on.
it's
come
been
on.
a
Are you
real disaster. but I
1.3K
don't know how
after
much
that? After that,
1.3.
I'm going to call that Beggzy's rant almost there.
Oh,
Are you telling me,
mate,
my friend,
oh, you guys
after
get
all
out.
that,
I'll
you
just
bloody
keep talking.
1.3K? Stuff them blokes,
Yeah.
Janath.
Yeah,
You
it's-
organised all these blokes to come on. It's just
Oh,
bugging me off, isn't it?
I
Beggzy
just don't, I don't
1.3.
know how I've
They've
been
bloody
climbing
200
rank,
before.
honestly. I have no idea how I've been climbing rank. It's just like, well, last couple of weeks I've been
Oh,
probably the last couple of trades have been okay. I think I upgraded. I can't remember who it was. Someone to Petrarca, but then of course Fritsch goes down, so he lost the same week. So I've been getting some good scores out of him. I bought him Darcy Paris 2 weeks ago. Two hard games, but it should be smooth sailing. Well, hopefully, really strong smooth sailing from now on. So, but yeah, just it's been an interesting year. It's been a different year coming from all the way back. Normally, you start by say 30K or 20K, but from 77K, a massive
Absolutely
challenge.
can relate, my man. Sorry, Spills,
Yeah.
just before you jump in and start with these questions, mate. Beggzy, I think it just goes to show the quality of your coaching, mate. After all that carnage, you're still managing to almost hit that top 1K position. Kudos to you, mate, because it just goes to show that you can have terrible bad luck, but skill really does come into it at the end of the day. So to be sitting where you are, mate, after that carnage, kudos to you, brother, and congratulations. Fantastic,
There's definitely been a luck element, like in a kind of a weird way, like dodging these like Sam Walsh injuries and Jordan Ridley. Like I could have gone Luke Ryan or Jordan Ridley, went Luke Ryan. So I'm getting a little bit lucky these last couple of weeks, but
you deserve it after
there is
the other
some
carnage.
good karma. Yeah.
Good karma, that's right. Good bloke. That's right.
I've got one
That's
trade
right.
left, so I'm ready for pain. So I'm just been holding on. I've had to field Matty Johnson for Rory Laird, and that set me back 100 points pretty much from players, other players I got.
I feel like a lot would have been in the same position as you though, Beggzy, so I wouldn't be too worried.
Oh no! I wasn't going to panic trade out. Like it would have been tempting, but I just thought it's only 1 week, so
yeah.
But anyway, so interesting.
Go on, Phil.
Supercoach can be pretty tough even at the best of times, but we'll look at some glass half full, and maybe this will sort of showcase your rank in general. And just really short and sharp from yourself, Beggzy. One starting pick, one only that you've loved, and perhaps that sort of brought you to where you are now. Someone that you were with all the way from round one that was just a rock for you, mate.
Oh, look, it would probably one of the, I'd say it'd be Connor Rosie. He's just been so solid.
Yeah.
And you guys have probably seen a couple of retweets from me saying just this lad's just constant. And he's probably not the worst VC or C. Like if you're desperate, but he's just been super solid. I didn't expect, the consistency, to be honest.
Yeah. Great call.
And he's one of the few remaining of me starting team. Him and Roman.
Same actually.
And you dropped a few names to us before that sort of burnt you. You got to pick one again, someone you regret. Who absolutely burnt you? Never again. One bloke.
Never again.
Never again. One bloke you regret.
Off the list. Off the Christmas list, Beggzy.
Off the Christmas list. Oh, geez. Now, hang on. Now, one of my worst trades this year would have to have been Alex Jincotta. This is a weird one. Alex Jincotta to Nathan Fife. Okay. This is before the GWS game. Chasing points, it was around the buys, obviously. And it cost me 40K and a trade. And I don't think I'd ever pick him again. Never pick Nathan Fife again, no matter what.
Yeah, I think he's done.
He's just ruined, not ruined it, but he's just kind of hurt me season in the back end. Just a wasted trade and 300K on the bench doing nothing.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I think he's
we never pick him again.
Do you guys want a stat? Have a guess how many coaches started Nat Fife in round one? Like a percentage.
Oh, geez, it'd be 20 plus, maybe 20 plus.
So I think you're going 20 plus. Jules, you're saying 45. DR, how much are you going?
28.
I think it was pretty hot.
It was a lot.
43.8%.
Oh, come on, boys!
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think there are as many madmen as me. But there you go. It was, but remember, it was all about that
I must
starting
admit,
picture. You know, really
I
nice
must admit, I
starting
looked at it
picture.
for about 5 minutes. I looked at it about for 5 minutes, and I was like, I don't want to start him because he'd playing that forward role. But then, of course, when he was coming in mid-season, he was playing half mid, half forward, and looked good against the Tigers. And then,
sucked a few people in, Beggzy.
Sucked me in.
He's had a great career, but he's someone that we're probably never going to pick again.
Yeah,
but in 2024,
again.
Beggzy, who's the first picked bloke in your starting team picker?
Oh, geez, I could have a couple again. Look, it'd have to be Dacos. It'd have to be Dacos.
Yeah.
You look. I still remember watching him in round 2 or even round 1 against Geelong, and I thought, this guy's unbelievable. No one's going near him. He's running around like I don't know. It reminds me a bit like Chris Judd, just energy galore when he was at his prime. And then I picked him because I had to trade Stewart out. At the time, I had to trade Stewart out, straight to Dacos. Didn't even think about it.
Easy, mate.
I think
nice trade, man.
Phantom at the time said, go Hayden Young. I said, nah, I'm all over
Stick with your gut, Beggzy. Good man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just the eye test.
Bloody
The eye test
Phantom.
was massive in that regard. And he taught Port Adelaide a new one that day. And I was just like, this kid's unbelievable. And he's been unbelievable the whole season.
Love it,
Good
mate.
stuff, mate.
Yeah, lock him in. Him and Bont.
Yeah.
Those two.
Yeah.
Dacos reminds me of like a puppy. Like a new puppy that just loves to run around, chase the
Yeah,
ball.
Does not stop.
Yeah,
doesn't stop.
Run around the back.
Go around the back of him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's truly amazing. And if he doesn't finish in the top 3 in the Brownlow, there's something going on.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, bloody sheepdog. What about give us one lesson? Give us one lesson that you've learnt from 2023. I know it's been a roller coaster season for yourself, but clearly the rank doesn't do you justice from all the carnage that you told us before. But what have you learnt from this year, mate, in particular?
It'd have to be. It's an old one. Just don't go tinkering a couple of minutes before the first bounces of each game.
Oh, I've done that so many times. The last minute.
I did it a lot. I did it a lot. I mucked around with Stewart. I mucked around with Sean Darcy. I mucked around with him. And could have gone Wits and Josh Kelly was in and out. And there's just players. I was just like, then you end up with them and then you feel a bit. And
when you drop a Carlton or Richmond bloke 2 minutes before the first lockout of round 1, like you're just so on edge and you do it, you just miss it.
Exactly. Give yourself I reckon you give yourself, don't go, give yourself 10, 15 minutes and then just leave it even longer. It's just too much of a hassle. And then you start, like I said, you start mucking things up and then you place one player and then you got to play someone down the line and like in the same team and whatever. It just mucks it around too much and you could end up confusing yourself, and that just burnt me a lot. It's playing catch up ever since.
Would you say even before the first game of the round, doing reverse trades one too many times and having like players VCs on the wrong player, you got your captaincy on some random guy?
I haven't really reversed trades. I don't do that. That's just too, you're relying on too much variety and variation, whatever. But I did a couple of times muck around with the VC and C, particularly with English and Bont. Swap them around the wrong time. I did that with the Fremantle game. I VC'd English over Bont, and Bont went 180 or something, what it was, and English, you'd feel disappointed with the 130 when you shouldn't. But just no
tinkering. Get a 130. Bloody hell.
Just nailing the VCs and the Cs were just been a hassle this year. It really has.
Yeah, true, man.
It's been one of my real annoying things. But anyway, something to learn next year as well.
Yeah, well, that we can agree on, Beggzy. It's been bloody great to have you on. Before we let you go, what is some general feedback that you've had from being obviously a real regular of this podcast? If there's any real constructive criticism and something that you've really enjoyed about the podcast, I'd love to hear it, mate.
Yeah, no, you guys are fantastic. Like, I just jumped on 1 or 2 years, and you guys are fantastic. Like, I just love hearing all the serious side of things, and you have a bit of a laugh and take the PI55 out of each other, and it's just fantastic.
I love that.
Yeah, you've definitely helped the VCs and Cs most of the time. It does work out. Sometimes there's variations you can't help.
Yeah.
But because at the end of the day, like I'm the one pressing the VC and C, but you guys are fantastic. I don't know. There's no really, you can't really criticize. Like there's nothing that's like going, oh,
send one of these to a rocket, mate. Give it to one of them.
Yeah.
Everyone's been pretty nice.
Yeah, like, I don't know. You could have, I suppose you could have a little bit, not a little bit more, but maybe once a month just have someone on, just like this maybe.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
we
But
needed to.
apart from
Love
that,
it,
I
Beggzy.
think you guys are doing a fantastic job. You really are, and no, I love listening to you guys. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with that.
One of those people will definitely have to be you again,
agree with
Beggzy,
Spilsy.
because, mate, we've known you as part of the SuperCoach and Twitter community for bloody years and years and years, mate. So, like, you're an absolute regular there. You're a very
I've been doing it
popular
since
man.
2008, and I'll tell you what.
Oh, well, I tell you, but mate, you did not disappoint, mate. We knew that we'd get along well with you and have a great time having you on.
And do you
so,
know
mate,
what?
hopefully this is the first time
no
in
worries, guys.
buddy.
Beggzy, you're ready for a big
Yeah,
AFL season ahead, mate.
definitely. Hopefully, I haven't rambled on too much.
That's been
Not
good,
at all.
mate.
Hopefully, I haven't
fine,
rambled on
mate.
too much.
No, all good,
No,
mate.
good stuff, mate.
Anyways,
No,
take care,
fantastic,
brother.
guys. No,
Good
it's
on you,
nice seeing
Beggzy.
you.
You too, brother.
Cheers,
See
guys.
you
Have a
later,
good
mate.
night.
All right, boys.
Now, we introduced Jono and Corza before as the longest serving members of the channel. This bloke is right up there with them. Now, I tell you what, talk about one of my favourites in the community. This bloke is not only a fantastic coach, he's a fantastic bloke. We have basically a video chat every week, H and I, and half the time it's talking SuperCoach, half the time it's just pissing yourself laughing with a bit of banter and lots of good fun. So without further ado, let's welcome on this absolute legend. We all know him. We all love him. H, welcome to the SuperCoach Swordplay podcast, buddy. It's been a long time coming. How you going, dude?
Oh, good idea. Thanks for the intro. Very nice of you to say such nice words. But no, thanks for having me, guys. It's been it's something I've been looking forward to.
Good to have you on, mate.
Janath gave me
Great
the
to have
invite.
you on. Oh, mate, it's as I said, mate, we've been talking about this for a fair while, H. So it's fantastic to finally get you on, mate. If you don't know, H, elite soccer player as well. You actually wear the gloves, don't you, mate?
Yeah, I'm coaching at the moment because I broke my foot last year. So I'm doing a bit of coaching down at Point Cook Jets. I'm trying to get Janath to come down.
Shout out.
I tell you what, D. I'm learning from the best. I'm learning goalkeeping from the best. I haven't had the time to come down, mate, but I for sure will. But you've given me a lot of tips, especially about protecting the near corner there, so near post. So I really appreciate that, mate.
Plenty of sporting tips on this podcast. We gave James the old feedback about how to keep as well, so that was good.
There you go.
Always, I'm always happy to always happy to give you some help, Janath, in goalkeeping, mate.
I appreciate that.
If you ever need that,
I need a bit of general soccer help as well, mate, because I'm the soccer coach at school. I just learnt there was a rule called offside, so that's about as well as I'm going.
You know what, Harry? I reckon we get the "She's the Man" clip with the sauce bottles out to teach DR the offside rule.
Yeah.
I've got a lot to learn about this sport, about the world sport. A lot to learn, let me tell you, mate. But H, let's get into the actual SuperCoach talk now, buddy. Now, you've had a good season, I think, to date, mate. So give us a bit of a quick review about how your 2023 SuperCoach season's actually gone, legend.
Thanks, DR. Look, I think, in general, the year's been okay. At the moment, I'm ranked, 3.5K,
That's
which
solid,
is
man.
not
Solid,
bad
very
considering I was, ranked like 70K after 5 weeks. Butchered my starting team. Absolutely butchered it. But, I just sort of clawed my way back, made some really good trades sort of at the start of the season after round 4 or 5. Cleaned up a lot of those, sus rookies, I call them. And actually, there's a rookie DR that I think you gave him spray at one of those. Was it a GWS game?
Oh, Rouse.
Probably.
Yeah, so
One bloody handball.
Yeah, I traded in Harry Rouse.
One handball.
And I literally had him for 1 week. And I just got rid of him. I just said, no, that's it.
Done, isn't he? Absolutely done.
He's had it.
No, look, I think currently at the moment I'm ranked sort of around there, 3.5K, trying to sort of just get into that top 2,000. I think I'd be happy with. But yeah, look, considering where I started and considering where I was, started at 50K rank, around there, 70K. I'm reasonably happy.
And again, mate, shows your skill, mate. Sometimes you can't help certain things in your starting team, but to come back to around 3.5K at the moment, mate, absolutely wonderful, my friend. But look, let's
just quickly. Sorry,
yeah, mate.
Sorry, mate. I just want to just say with H's team, try get him into the top 1K. You've got a trade dilemma, don't you, this week, Harry? So you've got, I think, Seamus, Weddle, and Walsh, and you got 3 trades, but you want to use 2. So
I've heard about this.
I've been going over this. I think ever since Walsh done his hammy on Saturday.
It doesn't leave you the game.
I can't believe this trade. This trade's been following me around. I think it was Green to Walsh. Now it's Walsh to someone else. Like, it's just following me around now. So I don't know what to do.
What are your thoughts on the Hewitt plus Parrish for Walsh and Weddle, and you have Seamus as your rookie cover? I reckon that
it leaves me with
problems, does it?
It leaves me with a really dicey D6. Yeah. So I don't know if I want to go in the last 4 weeks with Seamus at D6 or Weddle at D6. I'm not sure. I've been playing around with a few things actually today. So
I heard that a little birdie may have whispered to me that the Sistog may be in some of your potential plans, H.
Yep. I absolutely regretted the day I trade. I didn't want to trade him out when he got the 3 weeks. I was cursing that trade. And who did I bring? I brought in Neil for him, so it didn't end up too bad. But I started with Sicily, so I copped those bad scores at the start. I think against Freo he scored 60 or something, and I was cursing him. I'm like, I'm going to trade him. I was fuming. I think Janath copped the message as well.
Everything.
I don't know. I was just fuming. I was ready to trade him, and I just thought, you got to hold. Sicily's a gun. And then I put the VC on him against the Saints. Went 170, and then caught 3 weeks. What do you do?
It's so stiff.
Part of the game, man.
I hated that so much.
Yeah.
I held him, mate.
I would love to hold so many of these players, but
4 weeks of nothing and a 58. I mean, he owed me that 170. Owed us all.
Oh, absolutely.
His score on Saturday jumped because I was watching it on Fan Footy. He went from 130 to 180 in like a minute and a half. I don't know what.
It took 3 late intercepts and it was pretty controversial. Nice. Almost won him the game.
Yeah.
Well, H does if we would start the question, does this make James Sicily your best starting pick?
Oh yeah. Look, there's a lot of boys that there's a lot of players this season who I could say were great starting picks, but I think the one that me and my mate were on from early days, I think he was 2% owned. And that was Goulden. And we were all over him at the start.
Before all the hype.
Even before
rest in peace to that pod. Far
even
out.
before he went 180 against what did he score against Carlton? 180.
180, yeah. And all the mids were missing, and he was playing pure mid. Brilliant.
Sucked us all in.
Smelt breakout. I think
it worked. Yeah.
I think he's averaged 110. I think he scored 160 about 4 times. I mean, you'd know, Janath. You're the
great
man.
140, 144 times, yeah.
Yeah, he's been great. I think at 476.
Around the mark.
Yeah, he's been excellent. Just, I think for what he's given us at that price, 475k midfield forward. I think, but there's been heaps of boys, Dunkley, obviously Bond. But yeah, look, for me, I think Goulden, in terms of what he's given us, or what he's done, I think for me that's him.
Love it, mate. How about the opposite?
When we were having our chat in pre-season as to what a pass mark would be for Goulden,
I was just going to say that, Janath.
Like 95 to 97 ish, and this man's gone out and got 108. Like, that's brilliant.
Great point
for a forward. Great pick as a starting pick. So yeah,
and I know, on you, Harry. I know you didn't start with him, DR. I know you. I
very hot on.
I went with Pipe instead. What a great decision that was. I went with Pipe instead of this.
I respect you for that though, DR, because you stuck fat. You're going against the tide. You backed your gut.
You backed your gut, mate.
I did, and my gut was rotten. Let me tell you that much.
And you threw up. You backed your gut and you threw up.
But also, I respect you, DR, because you took the ego aside on both Goulden and Sheasel and corrected trade them straight away. You didn't even wait. I think you brought them both in round 2, right?
I did, mate. Look, and you get things wrong sometimes, mate. And if you recognise that you get it wrong, as you said, you can't have an ego in this game. Just bring him in. I think that you wait, hope for him to go bad. Is just a bad move, mate. So, but thank you very much for turning that into a positive, my friend. That's why we love you, Janath. H, get out of the positives now, mate. Who was one of your dad's starting picks? Name one player that you really regret starting with, buddy.
Look, I don't call him a dud because I think he's a champion player, and I've loved owning him, and I just feel that this year starting Jack Steele cost me so many other options.
Yeah.
I mean, he was 600 something K. I could have gone. I mean, and I had him in and out of the team, and I was not sure on it. And he cost me a trade pretty much after round 2. His two sub-90s got injured. And I missed out on Dawson. I missed out on Stewart. I missed out on Dacos. Just all these combinations that I was doing. So
hurts, yeah.
Look, he's a great player, and it kills me now watching him go 160s and smashing it. And it's good for those who stuck with him, but starting him was a disaster.
Yeah,
absolute disaster.
Yeah,
it ruined my midfield, everything. It was a shambles of a pick to start. We shouldn't have started with him, but anyway, it is what it is. I brought in Dacos, I think, after round 3, so that was it.
Ah, well, all worked out for you, H. Mate, how about next year? Who's a player that you're locking in already? Throw away the key now. He's in my team in 2024.
That's a huge call. Look, I didn't start. Look, Tim English for me.
Yeah, I'll go
very
with
fair.
that.
Very fair.
I couldn't watch the first 10 rounds every week. The bloke was going 139, 138,
Still can't watch.
Yeah, and then he had a poor game against, I think, Port, and he's still tonned. I'm like, nah, I've got to bring this bloke in. Then Darcy did Darcy got injured. That was it. I brought him in, paid 630 something K. Through the key. I said, that's it.
And done. So you should, mate.
And you're not regretting it, mate. You're not regretting it at all.
I don't think I've said it. I'm knock on wood. I'm not going to curse him like I've cursed other players this year. but nah. He's been excellent English, and he's an R1. You lock him in, that's it.
Yeah, for sure.
So easy, isn't it, man? Yeah, absolutely, mate. Look, how about just to finish off, mate, before we get some quick feedback, what's one lesson, and look, you may have learnt many already, mate, but what is one lesson that you're really going to take away from the 2023 season to date, H?
Yeah, look, there's heaps. I've been playing SuperCoach for a while, actually, probably same sort of time frame as you, DR, over 10 years now. I've been really, but the last sort of 4 or 5 years, I've been really into it, like properly, getting into the right preseason strategies and buy strategies and all that. So I think one thing I've learned this season don't get sucked into the preseason game. It absolutely killed me, that preseason, that 1 week where you just override these plays you want to start with. You know, you pick other blokes like Liam Jones, you know.
Yeah,
stick to your strategy. Sam Flanders, another one, you know, got sucked into the role, you know, what was it, mid-forward role that they promised him. But just stick to your strategy. Now, if it's guns and rookies, or if it's a couple of mid-prices, or, you know, a bloke like Stewart or Dawson, or someone that you really intend on, you really want, and don't get sucked into the things that you read on Twitter. And there's a lot of people that post stuff, and just back your gut. I think that's what I haven't done this year. If I backed my gut, I probably would have been top 1K.
Yeah.
And that's just
great,
you know,
great advice.
Very
mate.
common answer, that one, and rightly so, because it's just so obvious, isn't it?
I think like not going Windhager over 5, that's probably ruined about 5. That's about 4 trades.
One little decision. Yeah, that's tough, mate.
Yeah, so
it's so much easier said than done. So much easier said than done.
It is. Yeah.
But like, that's the thing. If you're ever tossing up between 2 players, go with the player, 1 that you think is the better player, and then 2, go with the player you want to watch play. Like, you don't want to be watching someone that just scrambles to 100 score week on week, but go with the guy that you can enjoy watching. You go to the footy and you're like, oh, this is a player that I own, sort of thing. And yeah, Harry, you've had a brilliant season today, and it's been really good being able to chat SuperCoach with you throughout the show. That goes for all the boys here. And thank you for the support as always for the podcast.
Thank you very much, H.
You're welcome, boys. Thank you. Great job, by the way. It's been you guys have done a great job this season on the podcast. I've loved it. Well, I listen to it on Wednesdays at work.
Yeah, every Wednesday. I'm
Put it on my little computer over here, and it's been great. And just DR, you've got to you got to make an award or a weekly award for the man, the peanut. It's an
peanut award.
Yeah,
the peanut award.
Yeah, great cool.
Part of the week or something. I don't know. Like just
part of the week.
That's gold. Yeah,
it's for DR's team, I imagine, right?
Tell you what, DR, the peanut is
the peanut of the week. I love that. That is unreal.
That is absolutely elite, H.
Everybody knows. You'll be surprised. There are blokes out there who probably don't watch a channel who call Adams the peanut, and I'm being serious.
Yeah, you started that, DR. You've absolutely started a virus. You've probably ruined
after these little incidents. Yeah,
you've ruined Peter Adams.
Ruined the bloke. Yeah, but
2 meter peanut to
peanut.
An
absolute classic.
That's the best feedback we've had so far.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to do that, H, and we'll dedicate that segment to you as well, buddy. Look, mate, H, we'll chat the next couple of days, probably, mate, as well, because we need to work out this trade situation of yours, mate, at the moment. So I reckon, mate, next couple of days we'll get on that video chat again and nut this situation out, mate, because it's a big decision with only 5 weeks to go. So we'll get together during the week, mate, and have a good old chinwag about that. So, Legend, thank you very much for joining us again.
Thanks,
and we'll
H.
see you again very, very
boys.
soon, H. Good on you, mate.
See you,
you too, buddy. See you, mate. All right, Spills.
For your man crush.
You've been very excited for this. Quickly, what a legend H is, right? I love this, man. Like a brother.
That's going to be hard to beat. It's gonna take Shorty's best for that. So, yeah, I think
you've already
revealed it.
I was going to give him this big intro. I was going to pump the man up, but you've just given little
we
leak
can.
there, Spills.
We can edit that out and start again.
Pump the man up, Bill. Pump this
Build
man
him
up.
Build him up.
We're all excited, but let's be honest, Bill.
Right.
You've been sitting there on the desk, I reckon.
I went early like 20 minutes ago. Nearly ruled out H.
He did. He tried to get Shorty on before. So look,
so close.
Pump the man up, Bills. Pump the man up, and then we're going to get this legend on the screen.
All right. Well, H is going to be pretty hard to top, but I think this bloke's got him and everyone else covered. I think I think he's picked the right week. He's hard to beat, and he's in absolute ripping form. We've seen the rank, and yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that he's jumped on. We all know who this absolute legend is, boys. Welcome to the podcast, Shorty. Not the first, and it certainly won't be the last time. How are you, man? What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on, fellas? How are we? Good to see you.
Very good, mate.
He's been patient, this bloke.
Oh, I swear I've been busy recently. It's not coincidence that I've just had a week out of the blocks and thought I'd just come on, but pure coincidence.
No one would blame you.
I'm still pinching myself, fellas. I can't believe it. I felt like a celebrity today walking around on Monday. I was like, how good is this?
Well, everything went right for you. Like I had a look at your review. I don't think there wasn't one thing that went badly. I mean, you just nailed the
Your week,
PC.
Shorty. Tell us about your week, mate.
Yeah, so it was one of the best weeks Shorty's had as SuperCoach. I was ranked 23 for the week, which was crazy.
Oh,
I was just sitting there on Sunday night, just over at the folks having dinner, and I don't check the scores super often. Like, it stresses me out.
Yeah, you're
like,
notorious for that, aren't you?
Yeah, it stresses me out. So, but come Sunday, I'll always be like, yeah, let's have a bit of a look, and you compare it to some of the different leagues, and I was like, gee whiz, I'm like 200 points in front of most of other people without pumping myself up too much. And I thought, far out. I run into the kitchen. I'm like, Dad, I reckon I'm a chance for $1,000. Yeah, I was up and about. So I've been living it up. You go on and review the team a lot of times, and it's a pretty rough week, and you got to front up. We all know what that's like.
Yes,
when I had a week like it was like legitimately the best week I've ever had in SuperCoach, and I was just like, let's go.
Let's go.
You're a Charlie Kerno away, Shorty. That's all
That's
Oh,
it.
no,
One
how about
Charlie
that?
Kerno.
a Charlie Kerno VC, honestly.
A
Man,
Charlie
that was-
Kerno BC away.
Yeah, that was cheeky as, wasn't it? But I've been loving this, boys. I've just been tuning in, just doing my quiz for tomorrow night, just listening. It wasn't James up and about. He was up and about.
That
mate.
was a pisser.
yeah.
I could have spoke cricket with him, buddy. Oh,
Yeah.
my. Oh.
And was it Beggzy who just told us for a couple of minutes how bad everything was going? And yeah,
And then
1.3K.
bang,
though,
1.3.
Yeah, close back to you, Beggzy.
Jesus, mate.
Bloody witchcraft from that bloke.
Yeah, this went wrong. Oliver's gone down, but rank 1.3.
1.3K.
I was expecting like 40K from Beggzy, but no, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so flat about it, and then he's in the 1% if you don't mind. I mean, geez. Oh, well,
mate. Good to chat,
Shorty,
boys, mate.
we
Good to
know
see
we
ya.
know you've had a ripper week, but talk us about your season. Talk us through it, because those that have followed you, like myself, for a few years now, to say the least, we know that you've had a couple of ordinary seasons. And how bloody good is it to see you like up and about? Like it's a tough game. Like SuperCoach is a tricky one, and like you can't pick it. I mean, like last year there was just so much. Like it wasn't that they were bad selections, but just so unlucky. Like it's almost like nothing went right. It must be unreal to sit back and see that 23 rank for the week and well into the top 1%. I'm pretty sure, aren't you? How are you going with it, mate?
I'm ranked about 3,500 something, I think. So I had a nice little jump
Nice, mate.
last week, which was cool. But yeah, you're spot on. There's been some tough times over the last few years, and it's been nice to have a decent year this year. It really just the 1 week in the buys that just destroyed me, really. Just set me back a fair bit. But you boys know what it's like. I mean, it is tough out there because it's funny. Like, we love doing the content, but by the same token, it's so much content out there that makes it so damn hard to differentiate yourself as well. So, but no, it's been a solid year, and plenty of good banter along the way, that's what it's about, really.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what we love the most, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't keep a great man down for too long. And in saying that, what's one starting pick that you've absolutely nailed from round one, just straight off the tee? Your favorite one that you've loved the most? What do we reckon of it?
I know he's been mentioned already, but Tim English would be my guy. I think there was a few doubters. Yeah, there was a few doubters at the start of the year, and it's just nice when you're red hot confident on someone, you go with them and it actually pays off. Because there's a lot of times where you're red hot confident and it doesn't quite happen for you. So he's been great. And that's probably been the most pleasing part with my side is that I've just been able to leave those rucks just chilling there for the whole year. They've given me no stress at all. So that's nice. But Bontempelli was real handy as well. And even Harry Sheasel, like to start him, like I know everyone had him after a couple of weeks, but
good point, mate.
Yeah, we only got a little glimpse of him at half back, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go with him, and even if he's half forward, he should still go all right. But no, that half back role was pretty juicy.
Oh, we love that.
Pretty good. We love it.
Well, can't be all perfect, mate. Who's someone that you regret? We know you spoke about the rucks, and we know that there's been some real burn men in the ruck, particularly a few years ago in the COVID year. Check a shout to the peanut. But who's someone this year that has absolutely just burnt you to shreds, mate? Who's the worst selection?
Oh, in terms of starting team, like there was no one that absolutely jumped off the page, and I mean, I'd have to talk about a trade out, and I think I'll get reminded about it weekly, and you probably know.
He's going there. I didn't need you to go there.
It's Errol Goulden, one of the biggest trade hours of my life.
Talk us through it, because
I'm going to get his stats up.
Get the stats up, and when you specifically what his first couple of weeks before the trade happened, and then the next 3 performances post trade.
But it was a good antipod for last week anyway. Shorty didn't have Goulden. He's gone bang up the ranks there.
Yeah. Off to the races, boys.
Errol.
All in the thinking, mate, hey? But look, I didn't start with him, right? And he's turned up the first 2 weeks. I'm like, fair enough. I better get him in. Then he goes 85, 102, 88. Nothing too amazing. And then he goes 47, and I'm at the game. And
at the Cattery, yeah.
Oh, it's at the Cattery.
Never helps.
I've watched him bust out a 47 and just go absolutely cold on the wing, and I thought, I don't know about this. I mean, Cornelio's a tried and true. Like, I'm going to go with old mate Steve. And then, well, we know the story. 119, I was like, that hurts. 156. 156, and then he chilled out for like 3 weeks, and then before I know it, he was hitting 160s and 140s. I was just,
he's a bad man off that wing.
Oh,
easily.
It actually gets me angry sometimes.
You know, it's a bad pick when it actually like boils your blood. You go,
yeah.
I
try to put it past me stuff like that, but sometimes it still just gets me. But I think I mentioned before, but going Dacos to Doherty real last minute, that kind of hurt as well. Yeah.
You know what, DR? Spills plays the league, Shorty plays the weekly. This is all in the plan. Get Goulden on a bad week.
Yeah, that's it. I was planning for this.
He knew it. You just missed Charlie, mate. You just missed it. If only you would have scored. You would have scored 3,000, I reckon.
Oh, mate. If
Close
only.
Close to.
Yeah.
What about next year, mate? Like, it's a bit early to go preseason, but who's one player that you're going to lock in 2024?
I mean, there's a few primos that I think will live on. I mean, clearly Dacos. I reckon Zach Butters could be around the 110 mark because he started pretty slow, all considering this year. I mean, he'll be pure mid, but I wouldn't mind still going with him. But a few guys that I think might be a bit of value, like Sam Walsh, I reckon he's a good option. Callum Mills, Tuke Miller will probably be unders what he's worth. But yeah, Jack Steele's another. But I'll throw a random one at you, right? And this is a long way out. I like DR's thoughts on this, but
this is why I got him on.
Kitty Coleman.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's random but I feel like he hasn't quite got going this year. Daniel Rich he'll just head off into the abyss, and I just wonder if Coleman will just have a nice pre-season and they just say, mate, you're our distributor. He did it for a few weeks. Do you remember? I can't remember when it was, but he's done it before.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
A month ago, I
Mate,
reckon.
I love that, Shorty. I love that, mate, because Rich will be going next year. And I really think that Fags will give him the keys. I think what he probably needs to work on is a bit of his fitness, mate. I think he struggled probably in the fitness department this year. And I'm not too sure why, to be quite honest. So for me, he probably took a little step back. Remember, start of last year, I'd basically locked him in, mate, as that, swinging my back on that cheap swing before he did his bloody hammy. So I really love the selection, mate. He's a super talented player. Got a lovely left peg on him. And in the right role next year with Rich out of the side, I think it'd be an absolute ripper. And best of all, he'll actually present a little bit of value, I think, for potential, Shorty. So that is so sneaky, mate. One of my boys. I am very, very impressed, my friend. Very
sneaky. I just had a look at it, round 16, 18, and 20, or somewhere around there in 2022. Just a little snippet to what he could be able to do, maybe. But
it's almost
definitely won't forget him.
Wise elite.
Wilmot and Coleman's backline, isn't it, next year?
Yeah, I think they got a license now.
Yep. I reckon 100%. Great call, Shorty. Great call, my man.
It's gonna be hard to pass up in draft as well, if you will.
Shorty,
so,
Shorty, what about Nick Nat?
Can you Nick Nat.
If he's like,
haven't thought about him for a while.
250k, maybe like.
Oh man, it'll be like old mate Aaron Sandilands. Like if he's playing, he's going to ton up, but who knows if he's going to be right?
Exactly right, mate. Yeah,
could be a nightmare, but yeah. Oh man.
Oh no,
he'll be cheap. He'll be cheap.
That's right, mate.
I wonder what he will be priced at, because you wouldn't, it'd be silly to pay up, but you could possibly have like an R3 type for that risk, because you can't have him R2, because if he goes down, it's all over. But I don't mind the idea.
It'd be interesting.
That radical is set up, the playing R3, paying up for that insurance and security, particularly over the buyers. What I did really well this year. That's something that I definitely learned. But Shorty, what have you learned from this year? What's something that you've really taken into this year that's brought you into where you are now, which is a great rank? So good to see you back up on the top of the mountain just about. But yeah, what have you learned from 2023, mate?
Well, probably to plan a bit better for the buyers, I think. That's probably something we say it all the time, but I probably didn't quite pay the respect to that. I can't remember which round it was, but that absolutely disaster round. And it set me back. Like if you're really going for a respectable overall, like that sort of set me right back. So
particularly the 4-weeker as well.
Yeah.
That did no favors.
Yeah, it was a killer, wasn't it, mate? So and I don't know. We have so many trades, but it doesn't matter how many trades you got. I always end up cutting it fine. So I don't know.
We all do, mate.
I
don't know. Like we've spoken about it before. Like I'm an advocate for a few less trades actually, and make it a bit more tougher to get a final premium.
That's an aggressive strategy.
Yeah.
Defensive.
No, there's a big letter in that from me to the SuperCoach HQ. A few changes to be made.
I'd love to see
You know what, Shorty? We should have you back on another podcast, and we'll do a little segment on our sort of letter of recommendation to the SuperCoach headquarters. We've got DR. He's got the connections with the Herald Sun.
Yeah.
Well,
get him to hand deliver like Santa Claus.
Yeah. Get an old school letter, Shorty. I'll hand deliver it to the boys. Please, mate. So, we'll definitely do that.
Just on that, DR, what was that drive-by that George did to you when we got, I don't know when it was. I think it was the draft podcast, and I think he said something about you at the Herald Sun or something like that. Oh,
the celebrity and all this sort of thing.
That was a bloody
far. He's a bloody celebrity over in Adelaide. He's talking about down here, mate. So if you are watching, mate, we've decided on gather round. We're all going up there and pitching a tent in your backyard, mate. So hopefully you've got
he's gonna love
there,
that. No, bloody oath. All right, Shorty. You haven't been on this is obviously not the first time you've been on. What's some general feedback that you found, not just from watching the podcast, but also featuring in it as well? We know you get around it occasionally. What are your thoughts on the potty, and what do you like about it? What's something that we could probably improve on in future seasons?
Oh, mate, you boys are getting pumped up throughout this segment. I can't fault you boys. It's a real good combination. I'm being genuine there. Like the combination of actual hardcore SuperCoach chat but mixed in with some good banter and like just some wholesome fellas. Like you get that good vibe from you. So I think that's why it is very popular. And honestly, I got no. I'm not going to tell you how to run the show, boys. You got it covered, you know. But I'm more than happy to come on whenever you like. I know I can be a bit of a busy fella at times.
Mate, love it.
I can be a bit hard to catch sometimes, but it was
It's just a coincidence that's fallen on this week. Just so happened.
Yeah, top 30 round score. I'm available, fella.
Legit, I thought that.
Errol Goulden has done poorly 1 week. I'm back, boys.
I just knew it was going to fall like that too. I thought, this ain't going to look great. I look like a downhill skier here. But...
Errol dropped to 60.
Yeah,
Shorty's
I'm in,
on.
boys. Yeah.
I love it, mate. Shorty, we love having you on, mate. And all the feedback that we've got whenever you're on is that you just the way you come on here and collab with us, mate. It's you're absolutely part of the family here, mate. Absolutely
thanks,
part of the furniture and the family
that.
here. And one thing I'll always take my hat off to you, Shorty. Apart from the stories and we watch you each week, mate, is that you are the absolute OG of SuperCoach YouTubers, mate. You really did set the path, set the way for all of us other blokes that have come in the years after that. So respect to you, mate. I've always been a big fan. I know as Spills, in bloody particular Spills, I reckon he's got a little photo of you with the candles, mate, on his little side there, Shorty. And that's how Spills
silly,
gets you just put your stories on. It just drifts off. Yeah, dreaming about you and Spills holding hands, walking into the sunset, I think, Shorty.
Settle down.
Nah, but I appreciate those words, mate. It's actually very kind, to be honest. I don't think of myself and the channel like that, but it is quite nice to hear you say that. So it is a pretty cool community that we've got going, and it is nice to be able to, honestly, like I've only been on the pod, a few times, but it feels like we just. Yeah, it certainly feels like we just bounce off each other really well, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
I definitely want a signature off you at that Geelong game, the Geelong Essendon game. Bit nervous at the time, I must admit.
Were you really?
Can you sign my Ridley Guernsey story, please? I know it's not too long, but it's the only chance I got.
Oh, Jordan Ridley's copped it a bit tonight, hasn't he, too?
Much adversity. I had to put that back up. I just had to. It was still my bag from the weekend when we watched the footy on the Friday night. Had to put it back up, boys. How can you not? But let's be honest, it should be number 20. How good's that?
Exactly right, mate.
Shorty, whilst we have you, I reckon you can help us out with the final segment, which is the captains, as always. Who are you looking to vice captain and captain this week, mate?
Yeah, I was looking like, Dacos is always hard to go by or go past. But just wondering whether, and you would know very well, if George Hewitt might pay some close attention to him. I just wonder, what do you reckon? Is it worth just throwing the VC at him?
Hasn't
he?
Yet.
There you go. Well, what were they talking about on the couch then? Jesus.
They
got nothing over Janath, mate.
What would they know? Swordplay.
Exactly. Got the man here.
But to be fair to you, Shorty, you've got Hewitt in your team at the moment, right?
Yeah.
You probably know that.
He hasn't been
late, Shorty.
He hasn't really been like best 22 or just in the team for the whole year. So it's a bit hard. We've had Ed Kerno, and I know Kerno went to Dacos in their first matchup. And I think Dacos didn't turn up in that game. But Hewitt himself hasn't tagged. So just have a watch out on if Kerno gets named. I think he's the one that goes to Dacos because it worked the first time round.
I think we also need to add...
Not Charlie.
Yeah.
Because Charlie's not going around tagging people.
Imagine.
We got to add, like, Shorty jumped on Hewitt last week for how much was he, mate? 290, was it?
Oh, yeah, he might have been like 260, I think. Yeah,
that's brilliant.
And he went 130 odd. That is elite.
That's
such
awesome,
good
man.
Yeah, I was stoked with how that panned out, and even old mate Windhager chimed in for the 3 figures, which I didn't expect.
We all have him. That's
think we're
awesome.
right.
man.
Yeah.
Windy chimed in. That's how good this man is. I don't know if he did that on purpose. Yeah, Windy
look at
chimed in,
him.
but maybe he's just that natural. As I said, he's the OG. This just rolls off the tongue, I think, now, boys. The old Shorty.
No, great minds think alike. We all know that, lads.
Good.
Yeah, that's
What about
it,
a
mate.
captain? What about a captain?
Probably. I mean, I would probably look at. Laird's maybe not back in, is he? Bontempelli is always a reliable option. Probably the way James Sicily is going about it, like he's not one I've actually considered for skipper basically the whole year. But the way he's going, like obviously he copped that tag against North Melbourne, but no one comes to mind to be capable of really doing it at St Kilda.
Owens,
but
maybe?
yeah,
They didn't tag first time round.
Yeah, maybe if they teed someone up for the role, there's no one that we probably look at and it jumps off the page. But yeah, I'm leaning towards just Dacos, lock away a 130 plus, and hopefully don't have to think about it. Yeah,
And the Blues win.
Yeah.
I might that would be. I think I'm going to go pretty safe. I think I'll just go Bont as the VC, as that safe VC, and then probably into Sicily. Or else, if I'd laid a loop, I'd be keen to actually go Gawn into Sicily. To be quite honest, I'd love to if I could. I don't know if I'll have the loops to be able to do that later on, but I really do love the Sis dog. We know what he did last time against St Kilda, notorious for leaking points to opposition defenders. So I'm on the Sis train this week. Spills, and then we might end up with Janath. What do you reckon, Spillsy, for yourself, mate? You getting the big Sis dog in your loop this week, my man?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking a little bit differently, probably to all you lads, but I'm looking for someone that can really explode. Like I'm after a 140 plus or a 90. Like I want, because I want to take a risk, so I'm going with Errol Goulden against me Bombers. We'll see how we go. Yes,
Janath
was
for Shorty or what? Errol?
I think so.
Jesus,
mate. It's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Too soon.
That's a coincidence. That's an absolute coincidence that I've had that in the bag all week. Just so happens, but sorry, Shorty, but I think he's going to go off his head against my.
Apologise. Give him a drive by and apologise. You do love this man. Like bang, bang, bang. Sorry, Shorty. You know, all right, Spills. We know who your favourite is, mate. Do you know what? Janath and I might just log off now, and you can stick it with Shorty if you want.
Well, what about I bring back chit chat in the car park with Spills and Shorty?
Car park.
We'll sit in the car, have a couple of beers, and just talk Supercoach.
You're making Shorty blush, man.
Yeah. I'll move on, boys. I'll move on.
Pour this over my head.
These blokes are just. These folks just taking the P155 as we heard. So looking at a really risky sort of VC. I think Errol can really explode against the Bombers. We don't really give up that many points, and I think he's the real shiny light at Sydney. He dominates, and that's about it. It's the only real positive. So, and if he goes ordinary, well, I'm sort of in a way hoping he does, because I just can't go past Sicily. I mean, I'm captaining him. He's got St Kilda. I don't know if Blank's back in the team. If he is, that would be unbelievable. But I saw enough last week. I don't think he's getting tagged. I think he's going to be fine. And it's the stats are there, Janath, as you would know. How many points does that St Kilda forward line bleed to opposition defenders? And Sicily, who's probably without suspension and all the footy he's missed, probably going to lead the competition in marks. So. Yeah, couldn't go past it. So I don't want to VC a Bont, get a 125, and then and about a Sicily, and then just be crying when I see a 170 again. I want a 140 or a 90, and then fall back on the big sick dog.
Sicily, Siebel, and Ryan have all gone 170 on the Saints.
Yeah.
Wow.
There we go.
Maybe we could tee up Anthony Caminiti after this week and ask him.
We're going to get camera on. I'm going to get camera on this, buddy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Janath, we're going to finish off. We've actually gone over 2 hours, 2 hours and 7 minutes, according to this before editing.
Double ton.
I reckon my recording space is almost out as well. So, Janath, finish this off, mate. Finish this off with your captain and VC for the week, bud.
So I'm thinking a bit left field here with my VC. So There's a new hybrid role in town, and it belongs to the man from the category, Tom Stewart.
Ooh,
What is he
Tommy,
doing
yeah,
in the centre
played a bit of
bounce?
mid.
There's over 50,
Yes,
over
yes.
50% CBAs against the Lions at GMHBA against the Dockers. I thought that's where you were going, Spills, initially when you were talking about
Yeah, I
real.
was wondering what you thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking Stewart
Nice.
or Errol, and I was like, "Oh, you're going to steal my VC here." But
I'm
no.
highly considering it because it's just whoever's got the ceiling.
But yeah, there's a lot of good picks this week. It was a bit different last week where it was a bit hard to nail down someone, so that's why I just went Tim English with the VC and just didn't want anyone to fall back on. Because even like Dawson, Errol would have been the two there, and they both didn't get to 120. So Stewart into, I'm really liking the Dogs against the Giants. So what is that? But they play at the same time, which is the tough things. Now, might do English or Stewart into Dawson in the. I think either of the derbies or the showdown or the Q clash. They should both be really good games. I think Dunkley went 140 odd against Gold Coast earlier this year as well. DR, didn't he? 153. There we go. Yeah. So that should be a good matchup. So yeah, Dawson or Dunkley as a captain for me. I'll probably VC English or Bont or Libba. They're all really good picks against the Giants this week.
Yeah,
love it, mate.
Definitely.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, boys, what a bloody ripping podcast that was. It's got to be my favorite. Got to be my favorite so far after 3 seasons of doing it. But look, before we go, just again a very big shout out to Jono the Man of Steel, Corza the Ladies Man Blackledge, my man H, an absolute legend there, brother of mine. Dan Pennant, great to meet you for the first time, mate. And seems like you really know a lot about the game. Steve, bloody bragger, top 200. Not at all. Great bloke. Make sure
give me a bloody spell, Steve. Wow.
Steve, give us a spell, Steve. Beggzy, I tell you what, had a few technical issues at the start, but it was well worth it because Beggzy, you're the type of bloke, mate, that I reckon I could have a few cold ones with, mate, and go into the night talking some absolute nonsense, the two of us. Well, probably the 5 of us sitting here, mate. Obviously, James as well. James, absolutely loved you, mate. But bad luck about the cricket. Bad luck about the cricket. I wanted to, if James is on for longer, I wanted to ask him about Piers Morgan and his absolute meltdown. Piers' meltdowns. Give us a spell, Piers. Have a look, mate. Sorry, James, didn't want to rub that one in, mate. Little drive-by. And, of course, the great man that we still have here on the screen, Shorty, thank you very much as always, mate. It's an absolute bloody pleasure to have you on. And, to all the other guys that have come on, forgot about the other two here, obviously Spillsy and Janath. Thank you very much, as always, legends. You always carry this podcast through. Had an absolute ripping night. And,
and
really
thank you to the community.
Need to do this again.
That was just a segment of our very big community.
Absolutely.
There's so many we could have got on for tonight.
Yeah.
I've got heaps. We need to do another
The numbers are quite overwhelming, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we definitely will do this again. But guys, I reckon my recording space is almost up on here. I need to start deleting some stuff. So we better end it there. Thank you very much for everyone tuning in. And we'll see you soon in the next one. Cheers, legends.
Cheers, boys.
See you guys.